Welcome back to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Time now for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and Coca-Cola welcome you to the second preliminary final here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Would you please be upstanding for the playing of the national anthem?
It's always the perfect entree, isn't it, to this big match? The preliminary final, Wayne Carey and Corey McKernan. Some bonding there, so important, both of those players, to North Melbourne's prospects here tonight. Welcome to Robbo, welcome to Johnny Russo. Tim, you and Robbo are going to have a good look at the teams. McKernan's going to be important, isn't he?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where they actually start McKernan, whether they start him in the ruck against Jeff White or they actually send him forward and bring Capuano onto the ground, Robbo. I think I'd probably start him in the ruck first up.
Well, actually, I was looking at Matthew Capuano when the lineup was there, and he looked quite relaxed and quite composed. It will be an interesting... He has to have his eye in. Yes. I mean, he's jumped early. He's landed on the ground when the ball's still been in the air. He is a mark and a goal kicker. He's only kicked 20 goals this year, and he has to get a little bit more of the ball if North Melbourne to win this flag, most of all to win tonight.
He hasn't been in terrific form. Glenn Archer has been in terrific form. They named him in the forward line. But I would think that North Melbourne would be a little bit concerned about the forwards of Melbourne, and he, in fact, will start in defence.
Well, 46 goals from 18 games, this young fella here, and he has really been the star of the final so far. Just an electrifying player in the number 33 Guernsey for the Demons.
Well, it's been a very good team, that Melbourne team, in recent times. Gergich has been named on the half-forward flank, but he has been playing his last few games in defence. I think he'll probably go back and start on Shoal.
Well, there'll be some interesting matchups at the start of the game, but really in the middle of the ground, Todd Viney, Rigoni, Woewodin, the Febey brothers and Tingay up against Grant, King, Abraham, Simpson, Bell and Harvey for North Melbourne.
Scott Farmer, Gerard Healy's looking after Pineapple Head's play track. Gerard, who are you looking at in the opening term?
Yes, thanks, Bruce. Difficult to hear with such an enormous roar just before the start of the game. All the talk has been about Jeff White this week. We'll follow him in the play track, and hasn't he come a long way since he left the Fremantle Dockers just 12 months ago. We'll see how far he goes today and how Dennis Pagan uses Corey McKernan and Capuano to challenge perhaps the second most important player on the ground, maybe behind Wayne Carey.
We just saw that Shanahan's got Carey. We said that Scott had Farmer. Carey won the toss, kicking to the main scoreboard end. That's the right of screen. Adrian Barrett's in the Big Dipper.
Yeah, fantastic atmosphere down here. Very swirly wind, Adrian.
That's the only thing to be concerned about, boys. Very, very blustery. Mightn't help the king.
We're about to find out.
Now, Bruce, the middle of the ground is rock hard, so this ball should bounce at least 10 to 15 metres. Looking forward to a terrific game.
Start of the second preliminary final. This might tell a tale early. White didn't get so high, and McKernan belts it forward for North Melbourne. Bell plays it in front. Abraham's hip and shoulder got rid of his opponent in Stephen Febey, and the first free kick of the match goes against North Melbourne for holding the ball against Blakey, and it'll be taken by the D's. So Leoncelli's kicked the centre half forward. White was his target. White has a second go. McKernan's hip and shoulder didn't really collect him. Comes to Viney. It's a hot footy. Cow tries to take it. Was he pushed in the back? He was. Yep. The umpire quickly onto it. So a second free kick to Melbourne in the early stages of the game. Cow about 85 metres from goal. Goes to full forward. Neitz. Whoa! Unbelievable work! Thrilling!
Gee, I hope they haven't made the decision for the Cadbury Mark of the Year yet, because that wins it.
What a way to start this match.
Scott lost him in the contest. You've just got to stop his run at the ball. Easier said than done.
Farmer from 25 metres out has missed. What an electrifying start to this football match. A sensational grab. He didn't finish it off. He missed early shots last week against the Saints.
Yes, Melbourne kicked 5 behinds before converting last week, but they won the game convincingly in the finish. The kick-in goes wide to the Great Southern stand side of the ground. Rock, Blakey in there to help out. Matthew Febey to provide the contest for the Demons. And it's locked up about 45 metres from Melbourne's goal.
Right, let's catch up with the benches down here. Matthew Capuano, Glenn Freeborn, Brett Harvey and Brett Allison for North Melbourne.
And for the Melbourne, Jimmy Steins, the McDonald brothers and Russell Robertson, and just a magnificent atmosphere down here.
Well, Melbourne going with the predictable lineup. They've kicked another behind just off to the right. So 2 behinds to the Demons. North Melbourne yet to get to their half-forward line. That's the bench as nominated by Dipper. And just one change there. Anthony Rock has started on the field. And Brett Allison warming the bench. The kick into Stevens. Stevens in the left back pocket. Goes out wide to the wing. Stephen Febey. Onto the football was Blakey. Bumped off the ball by David Schwartz. Mickey Martin with strength. Tries to crash through. Matthew Febey's got the football. And the umpire on this occasion, Brian Sheehan, will bounce.
Blood rule, I think, too, Robbo.
Chris Mitchell, Andrew Coates and Brian Sheehan officiating in preliminary final Friday night football as Blakey to come to the bench. A gash above his left eye.
Dipper, do you think there's an advantage to either end? I know it's very swirly.
No, Bruce, so look, there's certain parts of this ground where the wind does take the ball, and that is on the far side of the southern end down there, but really no advantage. It is very swirly down here, but I've got to tell you, the ground itself is rock hard in the middle, as I mentioned before, the bounce of the ball, and the surface itself is looking quite good.
Just John Blakey then with a blood rule coming off and just a gash above his eye.
So Freeborn to take his place. Umpire, of course, waiting all the way, John, until the player takes up position where the other player left the field from.
That's right, Robbo. They have the right to put him in the position they want him to be in before the game will recommence.
David Schwartz, these boys are pumped up. It's been an interesting start to the game. Up high also was McCartney. Ball spills to Simpson, couldn't break away. And the umpire gives the all clear for a boundary throw in. Adam Simpson speaking appealingly there with the umpire Sheehan, but nothing forthcoming. North Melbourne yet to beat Melbourne in a final. Interesting statistic. Melbourne won the first match this year in round 2 by 25 points, and North Melbourne won the return game in round 17 by 65. Kicked away by Ingerson, goes back towards the wing. Gathered here by Bell.
On the left foot, kicks it down the line, but Ingerson's got it again. Ingerson starting on Roberts and Shanahan starting on Carey. So a little bit of a surprise there. Lazy old left foot he's got Ingerson as he kicks to centre wing. McKernan's got it. Needs a big match. He will be a key to North Melbourne's prospects. Normally a thumping kick. He gets under it, but he does get good distance to centre half forward. Scholl trying to get a run at it. He couldn't quite get at it. Free kick to Melbourne, or Mark Pay to Ingerson, one or the other. Told to play on now. He's going to have to kick out wide and finds his target as a good kick. Seecamp away. Melbourne have started well here. Seecamp to 50. Neitz, very well done. Martin went to ground. Not often Mickey hasn't got the strength to hold his place, and Neitz stood tall and took the mark.
Just watch this again. Neitz just getting rid of Martin out of the contest and then taking a well-judged mark. But that was a good bit of breaking play from half-back, going out wide to Seecamp. And Melbourne love to run through the mid-section of the ground and then kick inside their 50. And Neitz a very good mobile target.
And Tim, this is a very hard kick in here because it is very swirling in that pocket of the ground.
Can kick a footy, this fellow. 52 metres out. Leans back. It's going and going and going. Just missing. He got the distance all right, Neitz. 4 goals in round 17 against North Melbourne. So as they did against the Saints, so these shots have been more difficult tonight, except for the Farmer one. They've had a few. Now we saw Blakey being bandaged up. He'll come back shortly. Martin's got it outside 50.
So Martin, the reliable defender for North Melbourne. Poor kick. Left foot kick by Rock. Stephen Febey and Freeborn take it over. And it'll be thrown in. Just in Melbourne's attacking half. right in front of the big crowd in the Great Southern Stand. A huge crowd here again tonight for the preliminary final. The winner goes through and the loser can just rack their boots for season 1998. Kick by Schwartz, lands at half forward.
Free kick paid. Free kick paid to Mickey Martin for marking interference, Robbo.
Thanks, John, the free kick.
Interesting behind play too, Robbo. North Melbourne are sending their players back to play near Wayne Carey. Robertson's going back, Grant's going back because Melbourne are actually playing a loose man. Ingerson is the free player in their defence.
Blakey back onto the ground. Freeborn off. Grant pushed out of the contest.
Holding the man paid to Grant, Robbo.
Illegal, and Shannon Grant takes the free kick on centre wing. Kicks it into the middle of the ground. Blakey, not yet matched up by his Melbourne opponent. Blakey's kick to full forward. Up over the top was Ingerson. Knocks it into the path of Tingay. Away to Shanahan. Shanahan's kick is beautifully weighted. Off the left, which was not his natural kicking foot. And he put it on the chest of Todd Viney at left half-back. Viney, the Melbourne captain. He's going to get caught. Able to get the hand pass away. They may get out of this. He's got the ball back underneath. Lucky not to be penalised, Todd Viney.
Well, Robbo, I'm not convinced that he did get the handball away. I think the ball just spilled out of the tackle, and that's the one we've talked about a lot, and that is a prior opportunity to dispose. He must successfully kick or handball. Here's the replay coming up now. Now, that's not a handball. That's a free kick against him for illegal disposal.
Stephen Febey did well. Well trapped though by Bell. On the left, keeps it down low. Roberts takes it cleanly to Pike. North's first real chance here. Centering kick, Carey in the box. Seek, no. Melbourne got in late. They've got two against him. Grant held on to. Play on called. Watt can't get a handle on it. Rigoni did well, so did Uze. Melbourne are playing very well early. Matthew Febey out wide. Right on the boundary line. It's out of play. Boundary throw in. They're really manning up on Carey. They've got that extra man there all the time. Gergic sweeping with Ingerson and Shanahan, and they're going to make it hard for the King tonight. So have a look at that. North Melbourne have played in the last 5 preliminary finals, and a lot of the players, in fact 9 of their players have been in all 5 that are out there tonight. McKernan's kick to centre half forward. Seecamp sitting and waiting. Ball goes to ground. He did very well, Seecamp. Ingerson's handball is good to Kowal. Melbourne are doing very well at the back. Loose man in the centre's White. White's got a panic to go here. He's off now. A quick bounce. Trying to run him down is Stevens. White delivers to Schwartz. He's got him. He could kick this Schwartz. White Neitz. The 50-metre barrier holds no fear for these two big men.
White's in the middle of the ground, stretching his leg out here.
Once again, Melbourne just highlighting where they've been so good this year, and that's on the break from half-back. They got the ball out, and then White just running through the central part of the ground.
Schwartz from 52. He's slewed away to the right. Not going to make it. Good effort by Archer in the front spot, and he's going to be paid.
Paid the free kick for over the shoulder, Bruce.
Well, Archer with the ball right across that full-back line. Kicks it out wide. Just a little bit of indecision there, but Rock takes the mark. Looks for the hand pass over the top. Running support provided by Scott. Left half-back Robert Scott. His kick lands close to half-forward. It's marked at the back by Abraham. Equally as exciting as Jeffrey Farmer, Winston Abraham. Kicks the ball to full forward. North Melbourne on the end of it. Carey couldn't take the mark. Free kick. By gee whiz.
Signal given was for contact behind the head, Robbo. So the umpire had no doubt that there was some illegal contact above Wayne Carey's shoulder.
Very, very average free kick in my opinion.
Now, bear in mind that if the prime objective is to contest the ball...
Very ordinary.
No, that's in the back, Robbo.
The signal given was for high contact.
He fell over.
It was either in the back or over the shoulder.
Oh, let's get on with the game, okay. Garry with the ball, 20 metres out directly in front. Should kick North Melbourne's first goal. Shot for goal by Carey, and he's done the job. North Melbourne have kicked their first goal. Melbourne have had 3 shots, all misses.
Well, they just did it that well on that occasion, North Melbourne. They took the players right up the ground. Ingerson had been sitting back across half-back. On that occasion, Carey took his man, Shanahan, and Ingerson right up the ground, and then Abraham, just a wonderful, deep, penetrating kick to the Carey lead.
1 goal to 3 behinds. So Melbourne playing with that extra sweeper. Anthony Stevens has been the loose man so far for North Melbourne. And that one's held up and will go again. White not jumping as high here. He's had a couple of touches early. He was in the hyperbaric chamber last night. It couldn't have been 100%.
And North have now sent Pickett forward.
So Gergic now has to be committed to a man. So Pickett's gone to the forward pocket. McKernan won it, but Seecamp read it best. Kicks back to centre half forward. Farmer did well to get rid of his man. Archer was very strong on line. Kicks back into the centre. A tumbling ball there, unable to take it. There was Leoncelli. Pushed to the ground. Uze, the tackle was terrific. Scholes got hold of it. Kicks the ball high. Carey, they'll get two against him. Was Carey held on to it? No, he wanted a free kick, but Shanahan was able to hold him up. And Ingerson's come in and it's 50 metres.
50-metre penalty paid, presumably because I think it may have been Mark Roberts ran between the mark and Ingerson. So that would appear to, I don't know whether it was Roberts, but it appeared to be paid for a North player running between the mark and Ingerson.
Ingerson now from inside the centre square, the defensive side, kicks to half forward. Schwartz his target. McCartney got a hand out, pretty well done. Scott was terrific to McCartney. McCartney goes away and kicks the ball wide in the direction of Carey. He's got it. Long way from home. Grant wants it in the goal square. He kicks to Grant. He's going to be Uze versus Grant. Bouncing ball. Shannon Grant off the ground. He's kicked the goal. North have got their second. They're a smart football team, aren't they? They just play the percentages so well.
At half-back, though, that was wonderful play there by Scott. He got front and square. He got the handball. He fed it back to McCartney. He had good awareness, and he just kicked the ball to Carey, who was on the long lead. It's been termed the Pagan's paddock. It worked beautifully on that occasion, and the boys just running back into the space.
Shannon Grant a goal, Carey a goal, North by 9 points. McKernan gets first hand onto it again, taken away now by Viney. Viney's little left foot kick, Lyon taps it on, getting back is Pike for North Melbourne. He's at half back, the kick drops in short. Good punch away by King. Rocker's there with his fellow number 3 in Garry. Lyon looking for the free kick, not forthcoming. The umpire will bounce on centre wing.
Interesting thing is too that John Blakey, one of their key run-with players, North Melbourne's, has picked up Stephen Febey, and obviously they've been concerned about the run and drive that he's been able to give Melbourne off that half-back flank.
White gets a fist to it. Bell, little handball. Tingay, an effective kick over on the full. So the free kick will go to Archer at right half-back. Glenn Archer, always an important player in that defensive half for North Melbourne. Umpire calls Archer to play on. He does just that and kicks to McKernan. McKernan looks a man on a mission, doesn't he? Little kick. Sets it up here for Simpson. Goes back in towards the centre. Abraham just hammered into the ground. Carey gets the handball back to Grant. Grant the short kick, all right. Robertson's mark. Getting the ball down quickly, the Kangaroos. And Mark Roberts prepares to become their third goal kicker.
So they're looking sharp at the moment. A couple of good signs for Corey McKernan too, just taking pack marks. Wayne Carey looking particularly dangerous up across half forward, but the players' willingness to run to space, to run to the next contest, and that's been a hallmark of the way that North Melbourne do play their football.
Mark Roberts, a 200 gamer now in AFL competition, kicks for goal, but on this occasion was offline. 2 goals, 1, plays 3 behinds. North Melbourne lead by 10 points.
Stephen Febey to bring it in. So it's 13-3. Tense start here to Woewodin short. What a good player this young man is. Again short to Rigoni. His story's a beauty as well. Again short to Woewodin. Now they try and create something. Have to be accurate. Kowal, Abraham. Kowal did well, and Abraham made a mistake. He had to play defensively, and Kowal turned him inside out and runs with 3 bounces and kicks to centre half forward. Schwartz front spot. McCartney at the back. Ball comes to ground. Matthew Febey onto it. Matthew Febey kicks the goal. Kicks the goal. Oh, Winnie at the other end. I don't reckon Dennis will be
too happy. It was such a good kick by Woewodin off his unnatural side to put it to Kowal.
Really, the error was committed right at half back when Abraham went to ground. It just gave Kowal the space to run. He ran right to the wing, then kicked the ball back inside their 50. It was a good punch away from McCartney, but the follow-up there by Febey, and the finish was good.
So back in the centre, it's a 4-point margin in favour of the Kangaroos. McKernan getting good touches at the centre bounces. Uze's little kick, gathered by Lyon, little hand pass, great running support provided by Rigoni. Little kick might be all right. Yes, the mark's got to be paid, doesn't it, surely?
It was
at
paid.
left half forward to Viney. Probably too far out to score. Todd Viney not known as a real long kick.
The breeze is going in favour of Todd Viney here, Robbo. The breeze will go from his left right across the goal square.
Okay, thanks, Dip. Viney kicks to the square. Can we see a big mark here? Schwartz in front. Woewodin! He's been paid the mark. He was fourth in line. Well, they looked a little nervous early, I thought, the Demons. They had 3 chances. Nearly all of them they could have converted. They've got a goal through Matthew Febey, and this goal, maybe, through Woewodin, will put them in front. He kicks the goal. Don't worry about the Demons. They'll keep coming. They lead now by 2 points.
Good answer, well, Melbourne. Just watch this mark again. Great concentration there by Woewodin. Stevens just got lost in the contest. He was a direct opponent of Woewodin in that contest. But Melbourne winning the ball out of the centre, but McKernan's been dominating in there with his knocks. One just wonders how fit Jeff White really is.
Harvey's on for North and rocks off. The Demons have replied well. Maybe that's an answer, Tim. Pike onto it. Tingay's tackle was terrific. Rigoni belts it forward. Farmer couldn't quite. Martin gets onto it. Back there, Scott. Scott's handball was a bit panicky, but he got it to McCartney, whose kick out wide. Febey and King. King's had a quiet opening, and it's a boundary throw in.
Tim, you can just see Melbourne's pace just starting to worry North Melbourne, especially out of the middle.
That would be one of the great considerations in the lead up to this game too, Dipper. They would have been concerned about that. We see Jimmy Steins just resting. He made change late in this quarter with Jeff White.
Schwartz too strong. Just belts his way clear. Kicks the full forward. Bouncing ball. Neitz with a chance here. Martin onto him. Pike to come in. Neitz was terrific. He's kicked to the goal square. Matthew Febey out of behind. Exciting stuff. Schwartz is so strong. He's Lockett-like at times, isn't he? He can take 1 or 2. Terry Wallace, who plays tomorrow. But Schwartz and Neitz are 2 very powerful. In fact, that was Neitz. Very powerful men, and it's a behind. North Melbourne come out of defence.
They've got a chance here, the Kangaroos. McCartney's on his own on centre wing. Stands and delivers. Right at the back, with the mark taken by Woewodin. Very accomplished young player. Kicks wider still to Tingay. They're out in front of the member stand. They've got a loose player on centre wing. Very efficiently done by Tingay. Gives a chance here to Leoncelli. Swings around onto his right. Kicks towards a man standing on his own 50 metres from goal line. But chipping in as Archer and marked safely for North Melbourne. Glenn Archer, 4th kick coming up. First mark. Kicks from his defensive 50 line. Lands the ball on centre wing. Big high flyer was Gergich. Couldn't take the mark. The umpire will bounce. Interesting set of breaks that Tim has already mentioned. Melbourne dominating, but McKernan has had his first hand on the ball, apart from the big White punch just a few minutes ago. Bell to Grant. In turn, Harvey. Out wider for Pickett. His first real effective possession. Straightens up onto his right. Kicks towards full forward. Kowal. Abraham couldn't take the mark. He's been paid. I thought it hit the ground, Johnny.
So did I, Robbo, but the umpire certainly waited a long time before he blew his whistle and signalled the mark, but certainly eventually signalled the mark, and Darren Kowal letting him know that he disagrees with it.
I think he was on the blind side then too, the umpire.
Yeah, well, it certainly did look like that, Tim.
I think we'll see that the ball actually hits the ground here.
Well, the definition has got to be that he's got to be in control of it.
That's right, Robbo. The definition is that he must control the ball, and at no stage did he control it in that instance. I think Tim hit the nail on the head. It was just on the blind side of the umpire, and in that case, you just can't afford to guess.
Well, a bit of good fortune for Abraham, and maybe he can kick North Melbourne's third goal. It's a pretty good kick by Winston. Abraham has kicked his first, along with Grant and Carey. They are North Melbourne's goal kickers.
Abraham very good in the one-on-one duels, just using his body to get Kowal out of the contest. Just bought him a little bit of space. He certainly didn't control that ball right to the ground though, and the umpire, who was just on the other side of that contest, unable to see clearly what happened.
North back in front, 3-1 to 2-4. It's been interesting in the centre because McKernan's been winning it, but Melbourne have been taking it away. And McKernan gets this time to Bell. Little kick didn't go far. Uze belts it back to centre half forward. Neitz in the front spot. Martin at the back. Taken by Farmer. Farmer to Tingay. Tingay pikes onto him. Got him quickly. Pushed forward though by the D's to centre half forward. Archer and Lyon. Archer's had the best of that so far. King couldn't quite control it. A hard ball. Viney kept his cool. Maybe a free kick to North Melbourne. High tackle.
Bump to the head.
Played. That was Simpson, who showed a lot of courage. Gives it to Scott. Scott straightens the body. Terrific spot. The Lions handball to Febey was good. Febey to Farmer. Farmer goes for goal. And Farmer kicks it. And the D's are in front. This is a great quarter of footy now. This preliminary final is gathering momentum and pace very quickly.
Just watch the smother here. Scott just choosing the wrong option. Should have gone out wide first, came back into play. Good tackle there by Archer to put pressure. But Jeff Farmer, wonderful goal sense. Under extreme pressure, just putting the ball to his boot. And that's an impressive stat there. Averages 5 goals in finals football. A big occasion player.
What about the smother, Tim? What about the smother?
That was a great bit of play, Dipper.
Well, finals are usually won by the small 1%ers when they add up at the finish. And so far, Melbourne may be winning in that area. Woewodin's been good across the half-back line. Top effort by Abraham. Play on, says the umpire. The ball spills to Viney. Good tackle by Bell. Ball out right to Kowal. Kowal on centre wing. Goes in towards full forward. Not taken by Neitz. Gathered by Seecamp. Lovely head pass. Back to Febey. In goes the Ox. The Oxman kicks it behind. The big presence of David Schwartz. Not able to capitalise, but the surge forward by the Demons was exciting football.
Well, Melbourne knew when they went into this game they had to win their fair share of the collision football, but once they get out into space, they've got the leg speed, Melbourne, and they're really worrying.
Robbo, Jim Stein's about to come on, Jeff White about to come off. Definitely not at full pace, Jeff White.
No doubt about that, Adrian. Collision stuff for the D's have been good so far, hasn't it? I mean, that was a great example there. And then they've got the pace to really exploit North Melbourne. Schwartz, and they're pretty good in the strength. Leoncelli to Viney. Viney from 50. This is good. It's close as a behind. They've had some shots, haven't they, the D's? They're mounting up. They're having no problem getting the distance from 50 on a number of occasions. 9 scoring shots to 4. Archer to bring it back in. Archer's been very strong on line early. The game couldn't have been set up better, could it? I mean, we've just had the perfect opening term where North have come out hard, but Melbourne have responded. Bell, oh, this is danger. Forced to go on.
No, free kick paid for a push as that handball was coming down.
So Bell's got it. Thanks, John. Pushes it wide to Scott. Scott back in the team after that injury. Kicks to Blakey. Blakey, who came off for the blood rule very early in the game. Bandaged up, kicks to McKernan, who's been grabbing them tonight. That one kept on going. Carey trapped it brilliantly. Left foot, little one. Tried to push forward as a clever kick. Harvey held on to. Should get a free kick. Does not. Ball goes towards the pocket. Rigoni can match his leg speed, which is important. Boundary throw-in. Melbourne are matching up pretty well at the moment. Wide off, as Adrian told us. And Steins comes on. And then Jimmy gets a mighty roar. 3-6 to 3-1. Right forward pocket. Now, North have been good in this situation in recent weeks. Carey's been able to do some clever things. Let's see what happens here. Boundary throw-in. He comes from the back, Garry. Tries to push down. Harvey pushes forward. Woewodin has been terrific. Does he get a high tackle? He does, I think.
Free kick paid for holding in that one, Bruce.
Now, it's really up to McKernan to adjust his game, because Jimmy Steins will run to different parts of the ground than what White did. They're really trying to work over McKernan. Melbourne, they do change their rucks about 20-25 minute mark of the quarter, and now McKernan has to go with Steins in the latter part of this term.
Good stats for that young fellow. 10 possessions in the first quarter. Steins gives away a free kick in that marking contest. It will go to McKernan.
Didn't look as though there was much in it either, Robbo.
No, I agree there, John. Maybe the umpire's a little nervous too in the early part of this game. McKernan kicks towards centre-half forward. Marking contest. At the back there was Farmer. Rigoni tries to tap it out, maybe into the path there of Ingerson. Another solid crunch. Harvey to Scott. Good play. Steins is back there. Off the ground by Bell. Chance now for North Melbourne. Snapshot for goal has come in. I think it might have just missed, has it? No, it's a goal to Stevens. That was a great snapshot by Anthony Stevens for North Melbourne's fourth goal. And North wrench away the lead once again. It's been goal for goal in the first term.
Just another example of their crash bang football. In the end, they get it clear by hand or by foot. Terrific awareness there by Stevens. We'll see the lead change hands 6 times in this first term.
Welcome back, as Tim just said. 6 lead changes in the opening term. It was like the last quarter in round 22 with the Bulldogs. Viney's been good. Rigoni to centre-half forward, bouncing ball. Lyon tries to push forward. Martin and Schwartz. Schwartz is so strong. Back to McCartney now. He's got a bit of time. One bounce. Runs his full measure. The kick along the line. He didn't really have anyone to give it to. Febey's there. Held up Blakey cleverly. Then Tingay's kicking to the centre. There's numbers here. Lyon's handball perfect. Woewodin can go all the way. Goes from 70 metres. Kicks to the goal square. Schwartz and McCartney. Bouncing ball. Schwartz, McCartney with him. Schwartz took a long time. Handballs back into the slot. Gergich handballs. Farmer brought down. Play on call. Fantastic stuff here. Back to centre-half forward. Neitz turns and spins. Kicks to the goal square. And Archer's got it. It's thrilling stuff. It's 25-24.
Oh, it's frenetic, isn't it, this football early in the game? I mean, the pace of it, these boys have got to burn out. Pickett's kick lands close at centre wing. Stephen Febey provides the contest and then tries to apply the tackle. But Blakey's up to the task. Breaks away from centre wing. A wobbly old punt kick. Lands at half forward. Getting back Shanahan on Carey. Free ball to try and crumb it. Unsuccessful. Tingay to run away. Left foot kick by Tingay. Looks for the safety of the line. And will find it. 1.5 minutes left in one of the most entertaining first quarters of footy you would have seen this year, I'm sure.
Robbo, a lot of work being done on Jeff White down here. As Dipper said, like a pit stop. Doctor, physio, retaped, ice, and then Simon Madden had a word to him as well.
Well, that was a replay of Jeff Farmer not quite able to break away in the Melbourne goal square just a few seconds ago. McKernan with the football. Kicks it straight in the Carey area. Back goes Ingerson. He's working hard. Gathered by Grant. Look to give the hand pass away. Left foot snap will be marked by Woewodin. And believe it, folks, this boy has had 12 possessions in a quarter of football. A chance to kick a goal a few minutes ago as well. Leoncelli marks the ball. That was a bit risky. They get it back towards the middle. It's a one-on-one here. No, it's not. It's a free kick maybe to David King for holding.
Brett Allison now on for North Melbourne, who's gone directly down to the 4 line.
King's got hold of it. All Australian, but he's had a quiet final series to Pickett. Pickett, the Norwich Rising Star, big kick. McKernan and Carey. McKernan! He's got it, has he? No. Good effort. Ingerson was there. Gee, I thought McKernan was going to take the mark, and Ingerson stood tall. The big guns were all there. Have a look. Well, Ingerson was able to snaffle it, wasn't he? It was a good decision. Centre-half back. Steins a target. Blakey pushed it forward. Rigoni, Grant, taken by Abraham to centre-half forward. Garry did well to bring it down. Ingerson did exceptionally well. What a season he's had as he goes straight to the line, and he finds it again. What a big player he's been, Ingerson. in 1998. Terrific quarter, 3-6 to 4-1. The Demons have had plenty of it. Farmer looked a bit stiff a moment ago when we saw the replay. And if the next three are as good as the first, sit tight, everybody. Sit tight. Terrific stuff. Absolutely outstanding opening term. Farmer really set it up with the most sensational mark in the first minute. And then all the elements that we look for in this game came to play. The paddock for North Melbourne, the bang and crash, and then the pace. McKernan doing well against White. Farmer doing well and getting a goal. Woewodin was outstanding. And the D's and the Kangaroos are within 1 point of one another at quarter time. Let's go down to Dipper and Adrian. It was an outstanding opening term.
Oh, it certainly was, Bruce. Adrian, welcome to Melbourne, mate. This is finals time down here.
It's magnificent. Boys, the Melbourne huddle couldn't be more impressed. No panicking, cool, calm and collective. This is a team that expects to win, that has got momentum, and if they get behind, I don't reckon they'll panic. The one thing Danaher did say, though, is a bit smarter with your kicks, boys. Straighten up and kick to your leads. Don't try to go a bit wide.
Well said, Adrian.
Thank you.
Start of the second quarter here, Friday night, second preliminary final. North Melbourne lead by behind over Melbourne. White got up high that time. Pickett crunched, Pearl crunched. No quarter given. Pickett looking for a free kick. Important, these one-on-ones. Pike gave it up. King caught. They've conceded 50 metres and holding the footy. What a huge play. An enormous play for Melbourne.
Yeah, Bruce, David King tried to turn his way around that tackle, and then the tackle took him to the ground, and the ball actually spills out. You see him try to get around the tackle, and then he just throws, or actually tries to kick it. So seemingly a tough decision because he didn't have a prior opportunity in Febey to take this shot.
Symbolically an important play. Febey goes short, I think. Farmer may be on the long lead. It was a strange decision. Scott near the line. Was he out? He struggled early, Scotty, and then he pushes Farmer in the back. And North Melbourne had the numbers, so Robert Scott really struggling early here. And Farmer's got it about 55 metres from goal.
And Matthew Febey did intend a short pass. I think he's looking for Neitz, who was providing a bit of a lead there.
Schwartz comes very short. Not much in the way of numbers in the goal square at the moment, so the D's might fancy themselves. McKernan's getting back, gets to the front spot. Oh, Lyon's going to kick a goal! Lyon's kicked the goal! North were a bit shaky. They were shaky in the first quarter when Woewodin marked, and they were very shaky at the back there. If Archer's not there, they've got problems, I reckon.
I was just about to say that Lyon hasn't been able to get away from Archer, but he did on this occasion. Archer lost him in the contest, and didn't Garry Lyon tell him all about it? Just watch this again. Lyon, a clever player, and then he just turns around and he tells Glenn Archer that he may be an old stager, but there's still a bit of sparkle in those legs. You see Byron Pickett has just come from the ground, resting on the bench.
4-6 plays 4-1. Melbourne lead by 5. White into the fray. Todd Viney to take the ball away. Left foot kick by the captain. Lands the ball in the area of Neitz. Schwartz to help out. Gets the hand pass away. Maybe was looking for Tingay. Could have heard a call. Bell. Back he goes to Pike. Pike close to the boundary line. Hooks the kick. It's gathered by Viney. That was a suspect handball. So was Leoncelli's. Gergich creates the situation. But Abraham is up to the task again. Simpson there to give him a bit of a hand. His kick along the line, very well handled by Blakey. Blakey's kick across his left shoulder. Back goes McKernan. What a sight that is for North Melbourne fans. He kicks the ball to the goal square, and Robertson's marked only 13 metres out, pretty well straight in front. What, don't you love to see McKernan jumping and leaping and marking?
Well, it's been so long since we've seen him play like that, you almost forget that's what he was doing in 1996 when he was such an important player.
Mark Roberts going for goal, and he has kicked it. So Mark Roberts gets North Melbourne's 5th goal, and the lead has changed 8 times.
Just watch this again. He's just in the picture now, flying with the flight of the ball, and that's just a wonderful example of what Corey McKernan can do.
Just to catch up with the benches, boys, while we wait for the ball, we've got Anthony Rock on the bench stand here, Matthew Capuano, Craig Scholes back on the ground, and replaced by Pickett and Harvey.
And Melbourne have reverted back to how they started. I mean, why would they change? Jim Steins, the two McDonald brothers, and Russell Robertson.
8 changes of the lead. It's interesting, McKernan's mark there as Stevens tries to crash through. So often in 96 we saw McKernan actually marking contest with
Free kick paid in that.
Free kick against Stevens.
Yes.
Only had 3 possessions, Anthony Stevens.
Struggled early, hasn't he? So often we saw McKernan taking big marks with Carey in the same contest in 96. We saw a great example of it there. Leoncelli wide, wants Schwartz. Ball goes to ground. McCartney's in trouble. He's holding the ball. Yeah, he had it forever. He just had to bang it forward. And Viney's got it at half forward right. Melbourne going to the main scoreboard end to the right here. They trail by a single behind. Viney squares it. No problems there. Leoncelli leans back, kicks cleverly to Lyon. Had to take the mark, and he does. Well, that was better than Abraham's. How unlucky is he? Has a second go. North are onto him. Lyon pushes forward. Hold it up. Well, if you played Winnie and you played Garry, you'd reckon that Lyon had more of it than Winston Abraham.
It certainly did appear as though still not a mark, Bruce, but as you say, if you compare the two, one was certainly just as good as the other. Yep.
About the same.
And one paid, one not paid. So unfortunately for Garry Lyon, the ball up.
Farmer's got it. Farmer goes for goal. Scores a level. Schwartz again very strong when the ball was up there, wasn't he? He was able to hold his ground and take the ball out of the ground. Yeah.
What about Garry Lyon in his ability to keep his eye on the football, even when he missed the mark, able to go back and make an effort? Was terrific stuff.
Melbourne's forwards are looking very dangerous. What they're doing is they're pulling the North Melbourne defence right across the forward line, so there's only one-on-one contests. The North Melbourne defenders can't operate together, and Melbourne are just believing that they are going to win enough of those one-on-one contests.
The kick-in was marked by Anthony Stevens. He goes close to the boundary line, and a good defensive punch by Shanahan finds the safety of the boundary line.
The breeze has certainly turned around down here. It's favouring the Melbourne goal now, and so players should be able to kick about 15 metres out.
Having a look there at the comparative statistics for the two key big men, Corey McKernan and Jeff White, that was spoken about by Gerard Healy at quarter time. Bell, angry little man is Peter Bell. Rigoni, that was a one-handed hand pass. He was lucky not to be penalised. Seecamp, and so was that boy there. That was deliberate.
Exactly as you called it, Robbo. Certainly very lucky not to be penalised for that one-handed handball, but on the boundary line side of the umpire.
Seecamp goes to Rigoni, dropped the ball. Spills maybe to the advantage. Matthew Febey could have been leg. Not picked out by the umpire, and it will be thrown in at right half forward for the Demons.
It's a real test of wills at the moment, isn't it? The one-on-ones are just so competitive all around the ground.
Melbourne are matching them right in tight, though.
Well, it is a terrific game of football, and the winner goes through, as we know. Seecamp again, kicks the ball into the pocket. Neitz to Viney. Viney across his body. No good. McKernan's back there and thumps the ball long and wide. But it might be to the advantage of Tingay. Piker's there. Scott running support. Gathers the football. Kicks the ball to half forward. Well done, Uze. Just got in front of Grant, but Grant's recovery was good. Kicks the ball to half forward. Kowal gets back. It's a contest at half back now. And half forward for North Melbourne. Abraham, the excitement machine. In goes Allison. In goes Allison. And gets North Melbourne's 6th goal. Allison, a goal kicker, not long after coming on the ground. Very important introduction.
And what about the work of the vacuum cleaner again? Just have a look at this vacuum cleaner, Winston Abraham. Look at that. And then controlled the ball. And this is why Brett Allison is back in the side. He's a goal-kicking forward.
Abraham was magnificent there, and Allison's a fantastic finisher, so a goal the difference. 6-1 to 4-7. Back in the centre. McKernan and White. White won it. Viney's getting a lot of the footy. Belts it forward to centre half forward. Farmer won the first spot. Couldn't quite get it. Martin was clever. Belted it away. Stevens starting to get a hold of it. Scott doing a bit better too. Through the centre to centre half forward. Big fly at the back. Ingerson did very well to Uze. Uze belts it back. Oh, Lyon crashed the pack. Farmer clever. You reckon Farmer with Martin here? This will be interesting. Mickey got a push in the back. No free kick. Neitz goes for goal and misses. Oh, some interesting stuff in all of that. Neitz has kicked 3 behinds.
What about that clever soccer kick there by Farmer to get back around? This is the attempted mark by Lyon over the top. The ball hit the ground, then Jeff Farmer just kicks off the ground, just trying to kick it around Big Mickey Martin, but just wasn't able to get back on the ball.
Stevens becoming important as he did against Essendon in the second half. Carey's got hold of it. Kicks to Roberts, who's been a very good player early. Well done, Ingerson. Building it away. Emphatically, didn't he, to the boundary line.
One of the best spoilers in the game.
4-8 to 6-1. 12 scoring shots to 7. Yet North Melbourne hold a very narrow lead. Carey and Shanahan do the ruck work. Push down towards Simpson. Taken by Kowal, who's got a good turn of foot. He uses it and then delivers in the direction of Schwartz. McCartney with him. Schwartz pulled to the ground. Farmer roves it beautifully. Farmer turn, he's in trouble. He got a good handball away. When I say good, it was a legitimate handball. It'll be a boundary throw.
Did he have prior opportunity, John?
I don't think so, Rob. I think that was a correct decision in the circumstances, and David King jumping up and down, suggesting, I mean, he tries to get around and arguably gets the handball away anyway.
Right half forward for Melbourne. Boundary throw in. Schwartz gets rid of his opponent. Oh, Strong again. The Oxman, he's having an impact. Todd Viney coming up for his 13th possession. Back to Schwartz. Wider still. Go Gergich. Gergich kicks. Archer fails to take the mark. Pressure enormous. Archer capable though under that extreme pressure. Gets it wide to Martin. Martin is between back pocket and right half back. No one to kick to, Mickey. So he's got to bob away. He'll land the ball on the wing. Uze and Grant. Good contest. Both good ball players. Back into the centre, Rigoni. Wider still Gergich. Bad fumble in the middle of the ground. Could be costly. Bell the turnover. To Carey. Getting in front was Kowal. Ball at centre half forward. Roberts has a chance. Mark Roberts going for goal number 2. A real wobbly one. Good mark, Stephen Febey. If it wasn't paid, he has conceded a rush behind.
And Brett Ellison jumping up and down because the ball wasn't kicked in at the top of the goal square, so not happy with not being given the opportunity.
Goal the difference. The D's wide to Woewodin, who had that super opening turn. Delivers to centre wing. Gergich, good mark. Quickly on, they had 3-1. Tingay, this is where Melbourne are very dangerous. This is where they cut Adelaide and St Kilda up in the finals. The kick's a beauty to White. First time we've seen White being able to get away. He doesn't seem 100%. He should have marked it. He took a long time to recover to boundary throw-in.
Bruce, the reason that White got away is that Roberts has gone into the ruck. McKernan's pushed forward now.
There's the Shanahan-Carey matchup. Carey good early, was involved in a lot of early play, but Shanahan holding him at the moment. Roberts over the back. Matthew Febey taken by King. King slewed off it, kicks the ball out on the full. Kicker about to come back on. The Norwich Rising Star.
Good play by Matthew Febey, just to persist there with the grabbing of the jumper.
So Kowal just forward to centre wing.
David Kidd coming off for North Melbourne.
Kicks to centre half forward. McCartney decided not to mark. Belts, but Rigoni's got it. Rigoni 60 metres out, puts it in high. Martin and also Neitz. Neitz couldn't quite get it. Tingay goes. Tingay will kick a goal. He does. Scores 11.
Two of the best don't go away sides this year. They will never go away, neither one of them.
Hasn't been able to get free on too many occasions, Steve Tingay, but he's a goal-kicking wingman. Martin Pike has been playing on him. He's very dangerous. He streams forward.
So Capuano onto the ground for North Melbourne. McKernan jumping early. White gets it to Viney. Held up as Todd Viney. And the umpire will bounce.
Allison back on the bench for North Melbourne, and as I mentioned before, David King is on the bench as well. Unusual position.
Good on you, Dipper. Thanks for that.
McKernan's going forward now, and Capuano's taking the knock.
Matthew Capuano up against Jeff White, gets it down, but it's gathered there by Febey. There's a free kick.
Throw to the shoulder, Robbo, in the ruck contest.
Well, Jeff White a bit disappointed with that.
Well, that was the signal given. I must admit I didn't see the contact.
Capuano to kick North Melbourne to half forward. Out comes McKernan, couldn't take the mark. No free kick. Good struggle at half back. Matthew Febey dispossessed. McKernan, Woewodin. Great play by Woewodin. Left foot kick under hurry. Back towards half forward. Diving attempt, not gathered. Neitz. These two boys, Neitz and Schwartz, are causing heaps and heaps of problems. Down goes Lyon, couldn't take the mark. Gazzers can't get his foot to the ball. Wasn't Robert Scott terrific? And Archer there to help. Great contest by 3 or 4 players in that passage of play. And Pickett acknowledges the efforts of Robert Scott.
Fantastic effort by Garry Lyon, and just desperation being shown all over the ground by each and every player.
Well, they're playing for big points here. Farmer, terrible kick. I think we'd expect a little bit better than that from Jeff Farmer. The kick maybe should have been to the front of the square.
And North concerned now that Todd Viney's getting too much of the ball. They've taken Simpson from him, and John Blakey now has the job.
See Rock on the boundary line a moment ago. Farmer's had 4 shots for goal and kicked 1. Archer's kick to half back. Big fly everywhere. Taken by Rigoni. Rigoni to full forward. Archer and Lyon. Archer read it beautifully. Can't control it. Still in trouble. Archer brought down. No free kick. Boundary throw in. Not often you see Glenn Archer unable to take the ball cleanly. Tremendous pressure on North at the back. He's had a terrific start with this game, Archer.
And the reason no free kick, Bruce, obviously he got the ball away, but fantastic chase by Garry Lyon.
6-2, 5-8. Terrific first half here. Both teams out at 100%, as you'd expect, as Neil Danaher said in the opening. Pickett goes over the back and brings it down to Bell. Bell on the left, kicks the ball back in the centre. White's in the box seat. He goes very high. No free kick paid. Ball comes to ground. This is where Melbourne have been matching North Melbourne. Shanahan was a bit slow, got it forward. Matthew Febey held up. Pickett was terrific. Going forward, Rigoni pushes him off. Blakey and Kowal. Blakey's endeavour was a bit more. Kicks to centre half forward. McKernan shields his eyes. Grant did very well to McKernan. McKernan clever. If it sits for Roberts, he'll kick a goal. Roberts running in. No one to handball to. Hooks it and kicks up beauty. Well, what a goal. Was it touched? It's a goal!
Bruce, Woewodin was saying that he touched that ball from the very moment it left Robertson's boot, so nobody will know other than Shane Woewodin, I would suggest, but certainly very animated and challenging the umpire and suggesting that when he attempts to smother this ball off Mark Robertson's boot, he certainly suggested immediately after that he touched the footy.
Just hard to tell, broke up a bit there, but Roberts has kicked 2 in the second quarter. North back in front.
Garry Lyon receiving some attention on the boundary line. Interesting tussle with Glenn Archer in the first quarter and a half of this do-or-die preliminary final. White early. Chance for Rigoni. Kick chopped off by Stevens. Stevens kick towards half forward is marked there by McKernan. Very important. He's gone forward and he's looked as though he's going to cause some problems. He might kick a goal here too. Nothing is beyond this young man. From 50 metres. Bang! And it is a ball burster. But it's just missed. McKernan are behind. 7-3 to 5-8.
He's the ace in the pack tonight, isn't he?
No doubt about that.
He's the most influential player on the ground at the moment.
He's taken the pressure off Carey, who's been quiet in the second term. 45 to 38. This is a very important period now for both teams. A break before half-time would be vital. Woewodin, clever. They're confident, Melbourne. They won't go away from that game plan, and neither will North, if we've seen so often. Seecamp's got it at centre half-back. Looking for the next easy target if they can find one. The kicks to Robertson. At the back, well done by Archer. He crunched it away. North, I think, can just smell something here. They're kicking a bit in front. Important that Melbourne hold here in the next couple of minutes.
Bruce, the news on Garry Lyon is that he pulled up sore after that contest where he had to really stretch for it. He could be in a little bit of doubt for the rest of the game, I think.
Interesting stuff, Adrian. 13-5 inside 50 in Melbourne's favour. Roberts kicks it up high. Mark taken and paid by Simpson, who's so courageous. Gives off. Taken by Pike to full forward. McKernan again. He is the man. Seven marks. He's the dominant player on the ground. It's been a big move, hasn't it, by Dennis Pagan to push him forward. You mentioned it, Tim, about 5, 6, 7 minutes ago when Capuano came forward. Now, he missed one, a big kick from 50 a moment ago. Really should goal. I don't know if he has. They seem to like it behind the goals. He's got it. It's the break that North were looking for. It's not a whole lot, but if they kick one more, it starts to get a bit serious, doesn't it?
Well, they've been looking for the controls to this big fella all year. They've finally pushed the right button. He has become the player up forward for North Melbourne. Carey's been pretty well held by Shanahan in the one-on-one duels. He's had to go right up the ground to get his kicks. Dangerous in the forward line when he operated right up the ground across half forward, but it's been quiet for him this quarter. It's Corey McKernan that's done the damage. Ingerson probably the best they've got at the moment too, Melbourne.
Well, I think sticking to the plan that Melbourne had was a key word. They just must persist, and particularly in the last 10 minutes of this second quarter. Attempted gather there was by young McDonald. Rigoni again. Seecamp. Slick hand pass. Tingay just a fumble, but able to gather and then kick towards full forward. Where are the crummers? It's going to be North Melbourne to take it away. Martin Pike, a little left foot kick out into the path of Carey, who's come a long way down the ground. He's at left half back. Short kick for Abraham. Gergic is there. Handball missed its target. A little bit of panic setting in maybe for the Demons. Kick forward by Scholl. McKernan is there. Big punch by Ingerson. At the back is Uze. Paddles it in front of himself and finds the safety of the line. Simpson there for North Melbourne. The boundary umpire will throw it in left half forward for the Kangaroos.
It becomes really critical now, the job that Capuano can do around the ground and in the ruck, because that means that they can afford to leave McKernan in the forward line. Dominant
Performances by the Kangaroos here at the cricket ground. Knocked away there by Uze and close to the line. Pickett takes over with Matthew Febey, and it's a little risky then when you do that sort of thing, but the umpire quickly on the scene decides that Pickett was all right. Gives the all clear for a boundary throw in.
Paddock set up again now for North. They've been playing quite a few deep in this term. McKernan's been huge. Viney's been very good. Belts it with the left foot. McCartney works to the front. Schwartz did very well. Robertson roved it. Robertson wide. Gets to, no, didn't get to Matthew Febey. I think he wanted Seecamp, who's down the ground, and Scholl took the mark. Some worrying signs just at the moment for the Demons. Robertson a one-on-one. Front spot on Woewodin. Pushing forward, goes to Abraham. It was Grant. Abraham can't take it. Spent it probably. Gergic was held up. No free kick. Handball by Pike. Gets back now to Bill. Bill caresses it into the centre. Finds Grant. They're building the Kangaroos. Grant's kicked to full forward. Wants Harvey on the lead. He's got a second go. Couldn't take it. Well done. McDonald's away. High kick. That's James McDonald. Back to centre wing. The Kings got it. Carey at centre wing. It's 8-3 to 5-8. He says long. McKernan's the target. He lets go. McKernan and Ingerson. Well done, Ingerson. It's worth a kick as he belts it away. Taken by Febey to Uze. Terrific footy. Uze away to half forward. Wants Neitz over the back. Mickey's had a blinder so far. Neitz with him. Martin's been fantastic. Archer overran it. Robertson was there. Archer got him. Boundary throw in. Good stuff. Both ends of the ground. 51 plays 38.
And just in the last 5 minutes of play, it's been some of the more inexperienced Melbourne players that have made some errors.
Boundary throw in 50 metres from Melbourne's goal. They must get a score out of this. Neitz tries to get rid of Capuano. Ball comes to ground. Taken there by Neitz. High kick towards the half forward. Shanahan. Rigoni gets rid of Stevens. Little kick by Rigoni. A little bit too far there for Stephen Febey. McCartney, well done. Gets it away to Bell. Rebound footy again. Blakey on centre wing. Blakey's kick into the middle. Pretty good. Simpson on his chest. Adam Simpson. Trusty left footer towards full forward. 2-on-1. And back goes Ingerson and marks. Grant out of the contest.
It's interesting, Robbo. McKernan went forward when he probably should have held his ground and they could have kicked to the paddock.
Ingerson to White. Maybe the advantage with Melbourne. White not able to take the mark, but he gathers, then kicks with the left to half forward. Taken there by Robertson, bumped off the football. Schwartz has a chance. Scrambles, a kick over on the full. In that left back pocket, Scott to take the free.
Kerry's gone right to the ground now, playing across half back, almost as a ruck rover.
Mickey's been good, I reckon. Neitz had a bit of it early, but Martin's had a big match. Scott belts it to half back. Carey, big mark. He's getting himself back into the game, isn't he, with some important touches. Out wide, Clever to Simpson. Simpson takes his time. Wobbly old kick, not a good one actually. Wants Roberts, but North won't be disappointed with that result. They don't mind when it goes out of play. Lyon's coming back on for Schwartz, is it? So
That's
Lyon
right,
on for
Bruce.
Schwartz.
That's the 20th interchange move off both of these benches, Bruce.
And Stein's on for White. Thanks, Dipper. So Dipper and Adrian Barrett's running the boundary for us tonight. Ball comes back from Capuano, and again a boundary throw-in. There's the interchange on the top left-hand corner. Time remaining in the second term before half-time. So much has been spent in this first half. It has been one of those nights where the fingernails will be bitten to the core, you'd reckon. But North have got just a handy break, and Melbourne need to get one. Steins did well. Left footer, back to half forward. Capuano at the back, belted forward. Pickett went without it. Wants a free kick, didn't get it. Simpson, Neitz, one-hander, pushed away. Pickett did well to Martin. Real crash and bang stuff. Mickey's high ball. Scholl caught underneath. Got a bad bounce. Seecamp took it. Scholl got him cleverly. Seecamp was good enough to get it to Kowal on the break. Well done. McDonald goes to fall forward. Lyon couldn't quite set himself. Robertson threw it away in the end and was pinged. Farmer didn't like it. It looked a throw from here, and the umpire was well placed, and McCartney gets the free kick.
Yeah, don't have a problem with that, Bruce.
Gary Lyons, it's just an almost game for him so far tonight, isn't it? He's been so close. Pike down the middle. Scholl's got it. No free, no mark paid. Plays on, goes around the body, kicks it poorly. Well, I say poorly, it was too far for Grant. McKernan went to ground. They all go to ground. Getting up was McDonald. McKernan's hurt his hand. Goes back to centre wing. In hard, Tingay, well played, but he's outnumbered. Comes back to Pike. Carey provides the shepherd. Pike back to half forward.
Yes, hooked the kick nicely. Got good distance. Woewodin is under there, being held onto by Blakey. They look at the umpire. The North Melbourne fans scream. No free kick.
And obviously a bit being said. And it did look
his finger.
McKernan, we think, may have a finger problem. Could have dislocated his little finger on his left hand. Roberts down, but Steins to gather. Kicks it back to the wing. Simpson, strong play there by Capuano. Tingay, all clear for a throw-in. There is the left little finger of Corey McKernan, and it doesn't look too good. McDonald gathered by Seecamp, taken by Viney. Advantage with North with the Demons. Oh, that could be a free kick at centre half forward to Lyon against Archer jumping too early, John.
Yep, unrealistic attempt, Robbo, so definitely a free kick to Garry Lyon.
Garry Lyon is 55 metres from goal. It's going to take a big kick to score. He tries the torpedo. Rigoni might get underneath it. Still a chance to Guy Rigoni. Can't control the footy.
Really wasn't the right kick there by Lyon, because they'd isolated Scott and Farmer way back in the square, and you'd almost back Jeff Farmer in a one-on-one duel.
McCartney, so it's 8-3 to 5-8. Boundary throwing. Whole heap of players. Capuano, who's done pretty well since he came on. Scott controlled it well, and then sort of half broke the tackle. It'll be a boundary throwing.
Oh, very, very lucky. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that Robert Scott's only intention then was to put the ball over the boundary line, and that's the criteria for the umpires. Is that the only thing he was trying to do?
So the boundary throw-in, Martin and also Neitz, taken by McDonald, can't quite get clear to Febey. Gets it across to McDonald. Martin was able to hold it up. Pickett picked it up brilliantly. but kicks it badly. But Tingay couldn't quite, and Pike can break with one bounce. Kowal goes to him. He'll go over the top to Harvey. No, he doesn't. Goes straight in the McKernan direction. Well played, Ingerson. Waiting for it, Harvey. Probably should have taken it. Belts it forward. McKernan might get a go. Kowal hangs on. Well played, Kowal. Very well played. Magnificently done as he wins a couple of battles there. And Steins has got it. This will be a big play to McDonald, to Seecamp. Seecamp through the centre. Little kick wide. Neitz has got it. He can thump the footy, Neitz. Now Farmer goes. Doesn't use him. Decided not to. Still Scott and Farmer are one out. What footy by Kowal at half-back. It was stirring stuff. Well, he's nearly got to kick the goal now. He's held it up so long.
But 19 players on the ground for 3 seconds, North then.
Tries a torpedo punt. It's going to be a mark. Was it touched? Was it touched or is it a goal? It's a goal. Neitz has kicked the goal. His first. It looked so close to being touched by his Melbourne teammate. And that's the one the Demons had to get.
I think this went through Robertson's arms. Just watch it again. It was a tumbling punt kick. Just watch this again. It's gone right through his hands. There's no doubt in my mind that he touched that ball.
Capuano off the ground. Pike has had 7 possessions on Tingay in this second quarter. He's been very good, Martin Pike. Steins, McKernan early. Steins gets it down. Leoncelli's quick kick. Ball bounces awkwardly. It has done all night. Pickett, knocked away by Seecamp, has been pretty good. Blakey gathers well. The handling of the football, all important in these blustery conditions. Well marked at half-back by Ingerson. No one to break to, so he's basically got to hold it up. Umpire officiating back there. Looks like it might be Chris Mitchell. Now he's asking Ingerson, mate, to move it on. 7 points is the margin. Close to half-time. Punched away, back into the middle of the ground. Gathered by Bell, handball. Pickett, going to get caught. Able to get it away to Bell. Still a scramble in the middle. Stevens, Bell, they had a few chances there, North. The short kick. Woewodin good on Roberts. Equally as good was Kowal. Now the pressure on Uzay. Able to get clear and kick it for a boundary throw in. Well done, Adam Uzay. 1 minute left in a very entertaining first half of the first preliminary final here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. The winner of this game to go into the grand final next Saturday and play either the Bulldogs or the Crows. Jimmy Steins, he's got a big heart, hasn't he? No drama with that. Peter Bell shrugs the tackle. Goes from about 60 into the pocket. Good. Diving effort by Simpson, not paid. And a scrambled throw in there by McDonald in the left forward pocket for North Melbourne.
And that's tough, Robbo, but I think the umpire made the correct call. Simpson has to control the ball. We see here he dives to take it, and then as he hits the ground, the ball spills out. If the umpire thinks he's controlled it prior to that hitting of the ground, then it's a mark.
Shannon Grant almost taking the mark. Spinning out Abraham, left foot across the face of goal. Bouncing ball towards the pocket. McKernan, Ingerson. Ingerson getting away towards the pocket, runs it over, boundary throw. Gee, what about Bill a couple of minutes ago when he won the battle with 2 players against him? That lady has been to the footy so many times. We've seen her over the years.
She never seems to age.
Terrific first half. Steins at the back. Uzay. Clever kick down the line almost. Bell sat and waited. He's had a terrific quarter. Couldn't quite get an effective handball. Scholl gets around the man, but Melbourne's tackling is as good as North Melbourne's. To Stevens. Stevens to centre half forward. Late goal would be handy. Oh, what a mark. Byron Pickett has taken the most sensational grab. He's never kicked a goal in league football. He has not kicked a goal yet, and he's going to have a shot on half-time. The siren is very close here. It's a great mark. He has got exquisite skills at times. He's one of the most orientated players you'll ever see. As I said, yet to kick a goal in league football. The Norwich Rising Star. This is a huge kick in the context of this match. Have a good look at the angle. I'm not sure whether he'll get it or not. I mean, the distance, I don't know whether he'll make it. He's given it all he's got. It's not going to be a goal. And the siren sounds, and that was just a great half of finals football. It's a behind. It's been given as a behind, I believe. So it's a point to Pickett, and they made all add up in the end, I can tell you. So a point to Byron Pickett, that stands. So it's 8-4 to 6-8 at the long break. Well, that late goal by Neitz really closed it, didn't it? They needed it, the Demons. White's not 100%, there's no question about that.
Mark Roberts appeared to get injured just before that half-time siren too. He signalled to the North Melbourne bench. The runner went out to him, and he appeared to be pointing to his right knee.
Well, Tim, we expected so much of this game, and it hasn't let us down. And right now, it's the best even money bet you've seen in a long, long time. North threatened to get a bit of a break, but Melbourne have held firm, and they've matched them in all the departments so far. At half-time, North Melbourne lead. It's 8-4 to 6-8.
Melbourne just about as predictable, same as they started. Jim Steins, the two McDonalds, and Russell Robertson.
King back on the ground, and he's picking up Kowal.
There's Woewodin being double-teamed up. Woewodin and Shanahan. Kerry just directing Shoal into the right spot. Second half commences of the second preliminary final. White goes hard. Melbourne, as they've done so often, able to get it forward. Gee, the hip and shoulder was good by Stephen Febey. Got rid of Blakey. Melbourne quickly onto it. And they've been able to get it to this position so often for the centre bounce, haven't they? They've been able to push it 30 metres towards their goal without really an effective kick, and they've done it again. They're the umpires. Chris Mitchell, Andrew Coates, the umpire of the year, and Brian Sheehan, who's bouncing the ball at the moment. McCartney got up, but he didn't get the tap. Viney, who had a big first half, kicks to half forward. King couldn't quite hold it. He needs a big second half. Matthew Febey, no one held him to his brother Stephen. Was touched off the boot. It'll be play on. Martin attacked it very well and then kicked extremely cleverly, actually. Got it wide in the direction of Blake. He sits and waits. That takes courage, and he did it well. But the front spot taken by Uze. He's had a wonderful season, and he takes the mark. Uze quickly on. Finds Matthew Febey. Big first half at centre wing. Now he's got Stephen Febey all on his own. He took a while. Bell can get back and contest. Did very well, Bell. Febey, I think, was a bit injured, actually, Stephen. Not moving all that well. And Bell, who had a fantastic second quarter, has taken the mark at half back. Goes to centre wing. McKernan a target. Oh, Simpson. Good take. White and McKernan, the taller players against him. Now Kerry running into the space. Simpson kicks to centre half forward. Melbourne have got numbers. McKernan's there. Ingerson couldn't quite take it, but it was overrun by Allison. Ingerson's handball was terrific. Rigoni got it to White. White under pressure. Got it to Tingay. Well played, Tingay.
Tingay from the middle of the ground. Uze taken in a heavy crunch. Got the football, got to be penalised. The advantage with North Melbourne. Roberts from just forward of the centre. Kicks it right to the goal line. Oh, Kerry missed it, but Abraham to rock up and get the first goal of the second half. 2 goals to Winston Abraham. And very importantly, after Melbourne spent quite a lot of time in their forward half. North Melbourne go forward and get the goal.
Well, you talk about centre square battles. On that occasion, I thought Uze was almost tripped there by Simpson.
That's certainly mine.
I'm not saying it was intentional, but he was almost tripped on that occasion.
Well,
it was a critical turnover.
Accidental trip is still a free kick.
Very important first goal of the second half to North Melbourne, and they lead now by 14 points. The onus right on the Demons. White for the third time to Viney. Viney still. Stephen Febey and Bell. Still Todd Viney. Gathers. Can he get the hand pass away? He does. Looks for Rigoni. Chipping in is Schwartz. Schwartz, the left foot kick to the pocket. Stephen Febey strong at the football, and so is his opponent Stevens front on. He's going to get the free kick by the look of it. Stephen Febey, the recipient.
Yeah, certainly a valid free kick there, pushed in the face in that contest, so taking the kick for high contact.
Bit silly by North because they had the numbers, didn't they, in that contest. They had Febey snookered, who doesn't look fully fit. Gives it to Rigoni. Rigoni at centre wing. Good long kick to the pocket. Neitz. Well done, Martin. He's having a wonderful game. Ball goes out of play. She's good play, Mickey Martin. He's better than he was 4 years ago. He's got better with age.
Look at the mark
to 44.
If you look at the marks that Melbourne have taken, they haven't been decisive marks in their forward line. They've had Woewodin, who's probably taken uncontested marks, and also Ingerson in the back half.
Kowal did a couple of big things. Farmer, back to Rigoni, back to Lyon, over the top. Must have heard a voice. Well done by Grant. He just chopped off Stephen Febey. King belts it out of the rear and gets the ball wide. Tingay's onto it. He can be damaging if he can get hold of it. King's onto Tingay. Tingay on the up was terrific to Uzo. To Farmer. The Wizards 50 out. Goes for the goals. Goes to full forward. Neitz outnumbered. Pickett did well. Belted the ball over the line. 58 to 45. You could not ask for more in terms of a contest in this match to date. It really has been played at 100%. Jim Stein's looking on. 9-4 to 6-9. Again, a critical time, isn't it, for Melbourne? They've got to hang in here.
My word, they need to answer North Melbourne's challenge here early in the third term. Kick in nearly marked by Tingay. He's got a chance here. Handball's off. Rigoni in turn. Febey caught. Tries to get the hand pass for Kowal. Pike and Garry. Carey's kick slews off the side of his boot. It probably will bounce over. It's wobbling towards the boundary line. Blakey, he's helped over. The kick has gone over. It might be a free kick to Melbourne. It is. Jeff White to take it. Player in the pocket is Kowal, but it's very tight there. Jeff White for Melbourne. No one really to kick to. The big men. Back goes Schwartz. His opponent is McCartney, but Pickett chips in and marks safely. Across half-back. Not big stats. Just 7 possessions to Byron Pickett. Good kick. Puts it on the chest of Simpson. Melbourne now under a bit of pressure. The ball will land at North Melbourne's half-forward line. Over the top of the players there, Seecamp and Scholl. Good hand pass by Grant. Scholl goes to the goal square. Marking contest. Ellison! Has he been paid? He has to be paid, that mark. Well, not something that we've really become accustomed to. He really is a crumb-gathering goal kicker. Schwartz off the ground. His place taken by Anthony McDonald, but Ellison to kick for goal.
Sorry, Robert, interesting move that too, because they're very different players though too. Obviously Melbourne believe they need a bit more mobility in the forward line, or maybe they're just trying to expose Glenn Archer.
It's 13, it could be 90. It is 19 points in favour of the Kangaroos. Ellison kicks his second goal, and the first 2 goals of the third quarter kicked by North.
It was just a battle of strength there. Ellison got McDonald out of the contest, but further up the field, just a wonderful touch again by Shannon Grant. He really is a clever player. He played the situation perfectly, felt the heat coming from the Melbourne defence, just shoveled out a quick handball.
It's the big margin of the match. Ellison, 2 kicks, 2 goals. He's a goal kicker in finals. He's kicked 30 goals in finals footy. North pushing forward. I think the D's are just overusing it at the moment, aren't they, the footy? A couple of times they've gone forward where a kick would have been sufficient. We saw Tingay to Uzo earlier in the quarter, and again at half forward a moment ago.
It's not the way they play, though.
So 19 points is a pretty healthy margin in a low-scoring game, but this game far from dead. Stevens pushing forward. Woewodin crunched, but did well. To Rigoni, whose handball to the space was clever. Tingay's slow handball. Phoebe's got to sit and wait. He's holding the footy. Well, it's a bounce.
Never really had much chance to get
probably
rid of it.
Probably didn't. I don't think he had a prior opportunity. In fact, many would say that Peter Bell's tackle pushed him in the back.
Bell having a huge game. High ball to centre half forward. Carey comes from the back, almost a mark in the front. Stevens pushes forward, 2 full forward. Grant's taken a magnificent mark. He must have seen the demon coming at him, but he kept his eyes on the footy, and it was a good mark. They're not easy to take. He played in the grand final 2 years ago against North Melbourne, and he must feel as if he's on his way again. Kick this, and North are going to stretch this out to 25 points. He's been a goal kicker all year, Grant. He's kicked 1 tonight. He's kicked 43 for the season. In fact, he's kicked goals in 20 of the 24 matches he's played. That's consistency, and he's drilled it home. The juggernaut is on a roll. There's no doubt about that. I don't know how you stop it now, but if Melbourne are to win, they do need to kick the next goal.
Well, the margin is out to 25 points. By far the biggest margin in the game so far. Quick kick by Anthony Stevens. And Grant, with his eye right on the football, took a safe mark within scoring distance. Well, we've only played about 5 or 6 minutes of the third quarter, and a margin of 8 points at half-time has blown out to 25 at this stage in the third term. McDonald, Anthony, out wide, Seecamp, go for goal. Can he get past? Yes. Kicks for goal, Marcus Seecamp, play of the night. Great goal to Marcus Seecamp. He backed himself, he took the punt, and he kicked accurately for Melbourne's 7th goal.
Well, the situation called for a moment of individual brilliance. McDonald won the ball, fed it out to Seecamp, who's not afraid to run. He has the ability to cover the ground quickly, and he needed to get back onto his right boot. He knew that he couldn't kick the distance on his left foot, and just having a joke there with the umpire. Obviously, he's still pretty relaxed, Marcus Seecamp. He doesn't think Melbourne are in danger of losing this game.
Huge goal for the Demons. What an effort by Seecamp. McKernan only as far as Tingay, so Melbourne not giving it away by a long stretch. Back to 19 points. Every goal given them a sniff. It's a good kick to half forward. Well played by Simpson, who's had another very good match. He's caught. Pickett did it cleverly. Pickett plays it brilliantly. He's a wonderful player. Held on to by Febey, free kick.
Well, I dispute that he was held, but he certainly made it look as though he was being held.
Just his ability, though, John, to read the play, I think was the important factor there. Free kick or not. Goes down the line to Martin. Mickey's got it. Brought down by McDonald. Wanted to go off, I think, but well played, McDonald. Now he's going to come back over the mark. A game of great highlights so far and heroics. 44 brave men out there giving their best. Saw Steins a moment ago waiting to come on. Martin delivers to centre half forward. Double prong attack with McKernan and also Carey. Ball comes down to ground. Playing at Seecamp. Scholl with him. He would have been disappointed with that last effort. Taken then by Simpson. Simpson delivers to half forward. Can Carey get into the game? Yes, no, he can't. Didn't hold it. Robertson. It's going to be paid, is it?
It's been paid.
Carey's mark paid. He certainly got a grab, but he didn't have it for long. Ingerson disappointed. And I think pretty rightly so, to be honest.
Yeah, what the umpires will do, if Wayne Carey takes a firm grab of the footy, then they will pay the mark, and that certainly was a pretty firm grab.
What do you think, John? I mean, you've got a good look at it. Is it a mark?
I think he had a very firm grab of the ball and carried it down a substantial amount to the ground, so I'd say that is a mark. It wasn't as though he juggled it, he had it, and he had it for some time.
Fair enough.
You don't mind, as long as they're consistent with players all over the ground. I'm sure that's what the fans will be saying.
He's had a fair bit of the footy, Carey. He's had 8 kicks and 5 marks, but he hasn't had the huge impact, and he's missed it.
I think the difference is, Robbo, that the others we've seen that seem to be inconsistent have been juggling tight marks, whereas that one, Wayne Carey just took a very firm grab and had it for some time. So that was obviously the reason the umpire has distinguished it from the others.
I wonder whether that North Melbourne fan was laughing at the opportunity given for a North Melbourne goal that Carey couldn't convert. Stephen Febey to Seecamp. Very well played. Gets it to Uze. He was tackled, but he shrugged it. Then kicked with the right, not too bad either. Down to the advantage of Tingay, but the umpire deems it has been over the line.
And the Demons just have to get more from their key forwards. Farmers just kicked the 1 goal. Neitz 1, Lyon 1. And 2 of their goals have come from defenders, Seecamp and Woewodin.
And Tim Archer's down to the 4 line at the moment. Woewodin's been pushed all the way back down there, so there's another way to attack the goal line for North Melbourne.
Simpson now gone on to Tingay too.
Very important few minutes, particularly for Melbourne. They trail by 20. Pickett not able to gather the football, and the boundary umpire will throw it in once again. Just forward of centre wing, favouring the Demons. Robert Scott back on Jeffrey Farmer, and Shanahan on Carey at the other end of the ground. Gathered there by Febey to Viney. He's well tackled there by Blakey. midfield.
Got that four line there at the moment, Robbo. So, Robbo, with McKernan, Carey and Archer in the four line there with Roberts now in the ruck.
Yes, well, that's an interesting observation there, Dipper. McKernan has been terrific. Punch close to the boundary line. Pick it again. Dispossessed, but illegal. Uzo not happy. Will take the
now,
free
Robbo,
kick.
I'm not saying it wasn't a free kick, but the umpire certainly wasn't in a position to see whether he was in fact pushed in the back.
McKernan leads, takes a beautiful mark. That's a good, very strong mark in front of his face. It's a talented forward line, as Dipper said a moment ago, with McKernan, Carey, Archer, Abraham and Allison there. Roberts pushing forward. Usually runs off this situation, goes inboard to Shoal. That's not the normal North Melbourne build-up.
That's really mixing it up, isn't it? They normally don't go short, but on that occasion they just lowered their eyes. Roberts finding himself a bit of space. White had actually gone right down deep into defence just to guard the dangerous area.
It's a good kick normally, Shoal, but he's a long, long way out. 53 metres. Gee, that's a big one. That's a big kick. It's a beauty. Long goal. Aren't they worth a bit on a night like tonight? 12-5 to 7-9.
It's death by 1,000 cuts when you play North Melbourne. And they are beginning to grind Melbourne. Melbourne were very brave in that first half, but I just wondered whether or not they had the physical capabilities to continue to play that crash-bang football that North Melbourne have been training for over the last 6 years.
Well, back out to a 26-point advantage for the Kangaroos halfway through the third quarter. McKernan in the ruck now. Kick forward by Blakey to half forward. Knocked away from Shoal. Swooped on by Uze. Down towards half forward. Oh, well done, Martin. Neitz is there. Gets the handball to Viney. Gathered by Kowal. Put this down, Darren Kowal. You've got to kick this. And it looks as though he has. To say that was a badly needed goal for the Demons would be the understatement of the evening, but it's back to 20 points and they hang in there.
They are hanging in with individual brilliance. A great tackle there by Blakey, but this fella here just getting free. But once again, it's probably worth mentioning their best forwards have been covered. Schwartz is off the ground. Lyon has been well held. Farmer's been well held. Neitz has been well held too, and they're going to have to rely on their goals from other players. We see Jeff White on the bench. He's having a rest. Jimmy Steins has come back onto the ball. Expect McKernan to go forward and Roberts to pick up Jimmy Steins around the ground.
Jimmy Steins gets a big punch to it. Bell gathers, gets the handball away. Kick forward by Stevens to half forward. And Ingerson couldn't quite take the mark. Roberts all over the top of him, and the umpire will bounce.
Well, there's an interesting stat. Melbourne have not taken a mark in their forward 50 since the first quarter.
It's amazing, isn't it, really?
So that really gives you a clear indication of how the North Melbourne defence have shut them down.
With Neitz, Schwartz and Lyon up there, that's a fascinating one. Steins on a bit earlier than normal here. 10 minutes to go in this quarter. White, we know, is affected. Stevens able to just get it out to half forward. Shanahan and Carey, and also Archer and Woewodin. Woewodin was unlucky not to get a free kick. Shanahan did well. Back to Viney. Viney to Woewodin. Well played, Melbourne. Woewodin from half-back, kicks down the line to centre wing. Bell onto it like a terrier, pushes to the line. Deliberate? Yes, free kick to Melbourne. Bell can't believe it. It's a hard call, but he went straight for the boundary line. Febey inside, got it from Tingay. Stephen Febey, who, as Tim said at half-time, his stats were down tonight. Kicks the ball to half forward. If they could get a couple in a row, it'd be important. Shoal, back to Roberts. Quick hands were good. To Pike. Oh, smothered by Kowal was terrific. Archer goes back to King, who's had a very ordinary night. That was very good though, King. To Simpson, to Roberts, who loves this floating roll. Little kick across the ground was a bit dangerous, but Blakey's got it. Squares it to Scott. Scott straightens the body. Not good. Kicks to half forward. Uze pinged it off. Handball over the top was belted by Allison. Didn't quite find Blakey. North Melbourne overuse it. Melbourne onto him. Viney's got it. Ball up. Interesting stuff. North Melbourne coming down the ground there. A couple of those little cute ones almost missed their mark. Capuano comes on for McCartney.
Maybe it's time for Melbourne to try something different up forward too. Perhaps Jeff White off the bench to the forward line, just to give them a tall target. and just reshuffle their forward line, which has become a little bit predictable to the North Melbourne defence.
Melbourne twice as many handballs in the third term. Steins just getting rid of Roberts. Uze off the ground. Came out wide. Pickett there with Febey. Pickett got rid of him cleverly. Handball back was good to Stevens at centre wing. Stevens delivers across the ground to Carey. Garry at centre half forward, couldn't quite mark it. Well played, Simpson, brilliantly played. Winston Abraham kicks his third, does he? Hit the post. Boy, that Simpson is one good footballer. He's a very clever player. 12-6 to 8-9. They're not broken yet, the Demons. No. They're still close enough.
That's for sure, Bruce. 14 possessions to Adam Simpson as Woewodin prepares to kick in for the Demons. Just under 8 minutes left in the third term.
This is about Enderson,
Goes straight down the ground. He's got to get it. Punched away by Simpson and keeps his footing and goes for goal. Adam Simpson and kicks a North Melbourne goal. That's his 15th possession for the game. And it really was a telling goal kicked by Adam Simpson.
He's become one of the very best midfielders, Adam Simpson. In the last 5 games he's played, he's averaged something like 23, 24 possessions. And it's just his surety of hand and foot when he gains possession of the ball makes him such a damaging player.
13-6-8-9. Simpson with a big goal, 84 to 57. They often say the third quarter's a premiership quarter, and North are showing the way. They were great against Essendon 2 weeks ago in this third term. Forward again they go. Carey held up. Oh, he breaks the tackle. If he kicks this, it'll be dangerous. He's missed, so he hasn't kicked the big ones yet. 1 goal, 2 to Carey. But North are tightening it, aren't they? 28 points is the big lead so far in the match.
They're starting to win the ball out of the centre again now.
The ruck work on that last bounce was perfect.
Leoncelli on for Rigoni. Now Woewodin goes very short to Uze and finds him. Melbourne have been very successful in the last few weeks at breaking from these situations, but North tonight has been able to plug it up. Uze looking for space. Good kick. Seecamp's had 2 magic moments in this term. One of them when he kicked a goal, one at half-back. Tingay. Seecamp over the top. Woewodin. Funny old bounce. Inside to Tingay. They kept their cool. They've got to take chances. Trying to draw the man. Neitz gives a little push. Martin was terrific again. Oh, Mickey belts it to the line. He's a magnificent footballer, this old fellow. He's not all that old. Oh, Mickey Martin, well played. That was terrific stuff. It really was.
The old business. He seems to have been around for yonks, doesn't he, Mickey Martin? And he just keeps playing that desperate defensive football and doing the ruck work on this occasion against David Neitz. Gathered here by King from half-back. King kicks into the middle of the ground. Keeping his eye on it was Grant. Interfering with him was Uze. The advantage with North Melbourne. Simpson's kick. Gathered here by Abraham. He overruns the ball. Gergic. Good shepherd for Tingay. Tingay into the middle of the ground. Chance here now. This is Leoncelli. Leoncelli for Melbourne. Goes straight towards goal. There's no one home for Melbourne. And Martin just straightforwardly marks it on his chest. Kicks it out wide. Bell just knocking up, getting the football. 23 possessions to Peter Bell. Anthony Stevens dumped after he kicked the ball down the ground. So a few undisciplined acts creeping now into the Melbourne makeup. The kick.
See Jeff Farmer come in from left of screen and just flatten him after he disposes of the footy, so the downfield free kick paid.
Kick forward. Chance here for Abraham. Kicks across his left shoulder. Well done by Woewodin. Able to get his left foot to it. Kicks it out wide. And it's to the advantage here of Melbourne. The hand pass by Febey sets it up for Rigoni. Rigoni can go short. He's got a player running in support. He's got to force the shepherd. He does. Rigoni 3 bounces. No one to kick to. He'll go for goal. Go Rigoni! A great goal! Equals Marcus Seecamp. He must have gathered the ball between half-back and centre wing. And he's kicked a fantastic goal for Melbourne to keep them in the action here in this preliminary final against North Melbourne.
Well, he just came on the ground too. That's why he hadn't been picked up by one of the North Melbourne players. Good running. This is a bit of the Fremantle Dockers. This just run, protect the ball carrier, but it's all in the finishing.
Sensational stuff by Melbourne. Seecamp and Rigoni have kicked two magnificent goals in this quarter to keep the match very much alive. Rigoni goes back onto Abraham in the back pocket after that giant run by his. Pushed forward by Capuano to Shoal. The thing Melbourne hasn't been able to do is put two together in this quarter. Pike, Shoal, outnumbered. Can't quite win it. Leoncelli, good. Well done. They need the next one, the D's. Pickett takes Seecamp out. Free kick to Melbourne. Be terrific, Seecamp.
Well done by both players there. They're hurt.
I think Pickett took Pickett out too. They may have been a clash of heads here. Just watch this again. Yeah, they clashed heads.
Seecamp gives it off to McDonald. High ball to half forward. Archer takes the mark. He's in trouble, Seecamp. You can see his cheekbone. But Capuano in short. But Melbourne, through a couple of great individual efforts.
One player short now, they can make a move quickly.
He's going to take the mark. Capuano's kicked it straight to him. That's courage, isn't it? It's interesting with the blood rule here because he has got a bit of blood on his cheek.
I thought you had to go off that blood on your cheek.
50 metres.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Obviously, considering that Wayne Carey actually went over the mark, the umpire was very, very noticeable, telling him to come in and where the mark in fact was, and obviously considered that Wayne Carey ignored that advice and penalised him 50 metres.
Garry can't believe it. Still talking to Brian Sheehan. He's taken us all a bit by surprise. It's a big 50 too.
A handy old 50.
Yeah, well, he was sort of halfway along the centre square, and the centre square is 45 metres long.
What a play this will be. He's about to go off the ground, takes the mark, gets 50 and misses. Sorry, John, but it's a behind.
Well, I really believe that Capuano kicked the ball into that area because he actually thought that Seecamp was out of play. Seecamp left the hands of the trainers. Just watch this closely again.
Now the umpire runs in from the right of screen and tells Wayne Carey where the mark is. Just watch Wayne and see if he does anything.
It's a hard call.
He's certainly going sideways.
That is a disgraceful call.
Yeah, it's a very hard call. The kick to centre wing, punched away by Ingerson, a boundary throw.
The runner actually talking to umpire Chris Mitchell now, and umpire Chris Mitchell running away from him, so obviously not liking what he was saying.
Boys, Seecamp's not very good either. I don't reckon he knows where he is.
To run allowed to talk to the umpire, John?
No.
21 points is the advantage, and it's important here that Melbourne get possession in the middle of the ground. Uze, little kick was all right for Woewodin. His kick was good. It's been marked by Kowal. They're mounting another challenge, the Demons. Left foot kick by Kowal. Must take a mark here. Big punch by the North Melbourne defence in the way of Martin again. Running for the football is Febey. Little kick is a shocker by Matthew. He wouldn't be happy with that.
Bruce, just in relation to that comment about the runner, it obviously delivers, it depends on the message he delivers. He can certainly talk to him, but if he says anything that could be deemed abuse or disputing decisions, then it's not on.
Kicked away by Blakey from half-back, well marked. Strong mark. And as he fell to the ground, he got the ball away to Anthony Rock. Chance here for Abraham. Tackle, ball spills for Grant. Didn't he play that well, Shannon Grant? Goes for goal and just misses. 2 goals, 1 to Shannon Grant, but it would have been a big play. 22 points is the advantage in favour of the Kangaroos.
But you do feel Melbourne have mounted another challenge here. They haven't been able to get those 2 goals together, but they have put a tremendous amount of pressure on North Melbourne. So who cracks before 3/4 time? It's Tingay. Couldn't take it. McKernan couldn't take it. Phoebe's got it. It's a good play for Melbourne because North had numbers. The kick to half forward, Schwartz and Archer. There's a bit of strength there. Great take by Pike. The handball was too far though. Tingay went with that and took his eyes off it, Tingay. Well, Pickett's given the free kick.
I agree, and Pickett did make contact with Tingay high. I think they both took their eyes off the footy. Here we see Pickett, the arm goes up, and contact.
Well, that's interesting because Tingay just took his eyes off the footy. Anyway, it goes down the ground and Schwartz has got the mark. Tingay went for Pickett then, and Pickett, I guess, responded. So Schwartz, if he kicks this, boy, oh boy, this match closes again. And Melbourne, as we've said so often, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to just keep coming, aren't they?
Tingay's been a big player in the 16 minutes of this quarter.
Had 10 possessions. David Schwartz has hit the post. Boy, that took a long time to get there. It was sailing and sailing and sailing, and it smacked the post. 86-65. So when you consider the Seecamp missed by 30, now maybe I read this wrongly, but look at Tingay.
Oh, you're right, Bruce. I mean, Tingay certainly took his eyes off the footy, but Byron Pickett was aware of that and decided to have a go at Tingay himself.
Well, I reckon he was protecting himself almost, John, but anyway, there's the kick in.
Inside 50s are interesting this quarter too. 13 to Melbourne and just 10 or 11 to North Melbourne. Yet they've been able to put the score on the board when they've gone forward.
Gee, it was a very good kick in, marked by Martin. Already North Melbourne have got the ball on their half-forward line. Abraham and Rigoni. Back it goes, and the kick in came from Simpson towards Grant, but knocked away over for a boundary throw-in by Ingerson. 21 points is the advantage. We're 2 minutes away from three-quarter time. Melbourne need to get a goal in the last 2 minutes. Dennis Pagan just looking on, frustrated maybe, can't quite get the message through to his players, and it is a critical couple of minutes. Leoncelli, McDonald, James, close to the line. It's taken over by Uze, boundary throw-in.
Robbo, Marcus Seecamp is still in Disneyland. He's not sure where he is. It's an incredible effort. He actually had a shot for goal back then.
Looks like it might be Todd Viney having a bit of a rub down too, Adrian, just before three-quarter time. Roberts, Carey not able to get away from Shanahan. They've had a good battle, very interesting battle between those two players, as we see Marcus Seecamp, Garry Lyon, and that's what happened to Marcus Seecamp.
25 metres out from North's goal. Roberts, Steins with the height advantage to the line. McDonald, does Stevens keep it in? Not quite. Bell out of play. Yes, the D's need one, but the one thing they don't want is there's a North Melbourne goal just before three-quarter time. A goal either way is a very, very big swing. What a great quarter of football it's been. North making the running, but Melbourne responding. Well done, Steins, beautifully to Gergich. Gergich quickly around Bell, delivers cleverly to centre wing. Mark taken by Robertson. Robertson down the line again to half forward to Schwartz. Still actually at centre wing. Chance for North. Blakey, bad handball, misses Archer, ball still in play. Schwartz tries to kick it off the ground. Archer across his foot, boundary throw in. Norm Smith medalist in 1996. Missed the preliminary final last year with Wayne Schwass, in a celebrated incident after the game when Dennis Pagan left the ground on this very night, on the Friday night match when the Saints beat North Melbourne. Steins, Capuano, Rock, Archer, able to get a kick to half forward, important ball. Uze goes up, McKernan, Abraham, clever, over the top, Grant onto it, Grant under pressure, Grant pushes, he kicks into the pocket, Woewodin, good mark, and then able to come away and create a loose player here with Febey. One bounce, two. Can Melbourne set up a late goal? Nicely weighted kick, a beautiful kick, play on called against McDonald, he was a bit stiff, King did well to hold him up, ball still in dispute. Free kick going to North Melbourne.
King did extremely well there, didn't he?
Played against Leoncelli for pushing Rock.
So Rock's got it. Carey made some space. Don't think North will have time here. Carey, they need the mark from this. Carey's centering kick is interesting. Ball comes to ground, push forward. Siren sounds. North Melbourne had an 8-point lead at half-time. They've increased it to 21, but they have not put Melbourne away at this stage. 13-8 to 9-11. Interesting stat. Melbourne has kicked 3 goals in each of the first 3 quarters. They kicked 3-6, 3-2, 3-3, and they trail by 3 and a bit. So they probably need a 6-goal last quarter to win the game. Pickett there with Chris Mitchell and also Brian Sheehan. The absolute rule is that only the captain can talk to the umpires, but who knows who initiated the conversation there. Mark Dawson with Dennis Pagan. Carey now goes into the umpires to have a chat. Can't believe the 50. It's 86 to 65. For one team, it'll be the final quarter of footy in 1998. North are 21 points in front. Neil Danaher courageously prepared to make the changes at three-quarter time that maybe the balance will give them the chance. Melbourne have had 9 single goal scorers tonight.
The bench for North Melbourne, Bruce, Jason McCartney, Freeborn, Harvey and Brett Allison.
And as Dipper said before, it's Lyon, Swartz, Steins and Russell Robertson for Melbourne.
Stephen Febey, and again a ball up.
Jeff White has been anchored all night, hasn't he? I mean, he just hasn't been able to leap, except early when he got a big punch the first quarter.
First goal or two, absolutely critical here. White versus Capuano. Blakey came, Febey was good, he got the smother and then paved away. A bounce, they're prepared to run and go to full forward to Neitz, too far. Pickett at the back. So often Melbourne has missed their target going forward. Pickett's got no one to kick to, so he's going to go all the way. If he gets tackled, he's in trouble. And he kicks it out on the full. But he did run the ball 100 metres. It was a great chase by Kowal. It was a great run by Pickett. It was good footy all round. Tingay huge third quarter. Inside to McDonald.
So Febey has to come back to take the kick. Andrew Coates has declared that Febey was the one closest to the ball.
Thanks, John. So Matthew Febey, who made the big play through the centre, didn't he? Kick to half forward. Arch has been terrific. Different opponent now. Taken by King, sweeping at half back.
Yes, a very important possession here for David King. He's going to kick North Melbourne into attack. And down there is Corey McKernan. Dangerous signs. He's still jumping and leaping. Big mark, 50 metres. He'll kick a goal here, Corey McKernan. Ingerson probably being asked to come back on the mark. Not doing so, and McKernan will accept this 50-metre penalty, which has brought him to within about 18, 19 metres of goal.
I think James McDonald just ran across the mark as Corey McKernan was about to kick, Robbo.
Fair enough, Dipper. The football with McKernan, it could be a really bad start to the last quarter here for Melbourne. If McKernan can kick a goal, you can see right in front, basically. He's missed. 1-2 to McKernan, a let-off for the D's.
Garry actually took the mark for the McKernan kick, which was interesting.
Yeah, obviously paid for the fact that it's, I think, McDonald in there that attempting to smother when he wasn't, in fact, on the mark.
Woewodin at centre-half back. So a real chance for Melbourne still, because North, a missed opportunity by McKernan, who's played an outstanding game. Woewodin nowhere to go. Very short. Gee, it missed Leoncelli. He's in trouble. Able to get it away. The ball's still in dispute. Stevens versus Uze. North hold it up. Stevens gets it to Roberts, to Abraham. Balances himself and misses. And he really had a chance, I think, then. He slowed himself up, got himself set and missed. So North has let Melbourne off the hook. But the D's short game has come unstuck a few times tonight. They've got to be so very careful here.
Well, just watching Woewodin's kick in right at the feet of Leoncelli. North Melbourne quickly onto him, and that has resulted in Rigoni having to kick in. He goes long, well outside his defensive 50. Up high McKernan, couldn't take the mark. Now the race is on between Simpson and Tingay, gathered by Blakey's, well tackled by Stephen Febey, and the ball will be bounced just wide of the centre square. Adam Simpson, impressive stats, 18 possessions, kicked a goal in the third quarter. 16 premiership players from 1996.
Blakey again for the blood, I think, Robbo.
Yep, that's right, Bruce.
He was one of those premiership players from a couple of years ago, John Blakey. He copped that knock early in the game. But he's done a pretty good job matching up on, I think Stephen Febey has been his opponent for most of the night.
Viney,
is it?
Viney for the second part of that third term.
And Todd Viney was very good in the second term, didn't get much of the footy in the third quarter. Pike for North Melbourne, taken to the ground by the Melbourne captain.
32-year-old in the All-Australian team for the first time when it was announced on Monday night. Terrific season. Capuano. Matthew Febey, who's very good in that situation, finds some space. Great mark by Archer. Terrific stretch. He's got Gergic. He had Lyon early and did a very good job on him. Archer just sits it up. McKernan's his target, though. Roberts' front spot. Pushed away. Well done by Melbourne. Free kick, I think, going to the D's, is it?
Yes, a push for Woewodin.
Coming back, so against McKernan, was it? It must have been the second
I think so,
time.
Bruce, yeah.
Well, 4 in line. Roberts was in the front spot. McKernan was 3rd in line. And Woewodin must have been sandwiched between them.
And this is where they've fallen down all night. They have not had a player to kick to who can take the ball at half forward.
Sits it up, Woewodin. Let's see if they can now. Gergic sets. Archer went early. Didn't take the mark. Unable to get the handball clear. And numbers there with North, but Melbourne hold it up. And it'll be a ball up again. So it's 88-65. Rather tame start to the final quarter. It'll build quickly. Blakey getting ready to come back on. Ball being thrown up, interestingly. Gergic belts it forward to Uze. Couldn't quite control it. North quickly onto him. Uze can't quite get a handle on it. Wanting to get the ball out.
It's a few times tonight, Bruce, just in that 50-metre arc. They've just fumbled, haven't they?
You're right, Tipper. They've had plenty of chances. Adam Uze, Guy Rigoni, who kicked a sensational goal. A match-lifting goal in the 3rd quarter. Gergic tapped back, but straight to Scott. Scott's high ball. Carey decided to belt it away. Bell onto it. Did well because he kept his feet. And then a lovely little kick to Stevens down the line.
Yes, well done, Anthony Stevens, to gather. He had a quiet start to the game, but 17 possessions now to the North Melbourne midfielder. Kicks it in the McKernan area. Hacked out of there by Febey. Wide for Viney. Crashes through the tackle. Then the little kick is not bad. Sets it up for Tingay. Could go into White. No one really to kick too still. Then he goes into the middle of the ground. Good mark taken by Gergic. Close to the ground. Was that a mark, John?
It certainly looked like a mark from here, but the umpire calling play on very, very early and must have considered it hit the deck before he took it.
Well, Melbourne, 23 points in arrears as we watch Brent Gergic. Did hit the ground, so correct decision. Gathered from that ruck contest. Kicked it across his boot. Dropped by Bell. Chance for Uze. He's tackled well. The ball locked up. Not quite up to centre-half forward for the Demons, and they badly need a goal. 23 points in arrears. They trailed by 21 at 3/4 time, and time is running out for Melbourne.
And now Melbourne are operating with Farmer, the lone player in the 50-metre arc.
Neitz came out for him, Tim, and Farmer went straight there. So a ball out to Farmer in a moment could be very interesting. Kowal couldn't take it. Stevens did a great job on him. King through the centre. That's what he loves to do. High ball to half forward. McKernan's been the big marking man of the match. That's a terrific mark again. Be careful, Ingerson.
He always looks like he's going to get up injured, though, Corey McKernan, doesn't he?
Huge marking game. 11 marks from McKernan. Now, he can kick the ball such distance. He's probably just too far out, even for him. Goes for it. Kicks the ball right there. It's going and going. Carey's in a wrestling match. And a free kick to Shanahan.
And rightly so, I think.
Goes short. Marked by Abraham. Unbelievable. Abraham chipping in front of Viney. Shanahan going very short to Viney. Didn't see Abraham. And Abraham, who's missed a couple, really should kick this.
And that won't go on Shanahan's highlight reel.
White coming off, Stein's coming on, so White probably was sent in for the last time tonight. Abraham from the pocket, I don't know. He's got the yips. He really has got the yips as Winston.
Here's that Wayne Carey and Shanahan contest, and I think you'll see Wayne Carey grab Shanahan and just throw him out of the way, and Wayne Carey suggesting he was being shepherded. Well, Jamie Shanahan is permitted to sit at the drop of the ball as he was. But
gee, there were 2 North Melbourne players there. North Melbourne have given Melbourne a sniff, though, haven't they? They've had 3 reasonably easy shots for goal, and they haven't been able to get any of them.
Well, North's last goal came at the 19-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Melbourne's last goal, 23 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Shanahan accepts the kick in. Still no one to give it to. They've got a player loose on the far side of the ground. If they can get it out there, Shanahan can go with the hand pass. Gets it to McDonald. Now they could get something out of this. The kick will find Woewodin, but Abraham's onto him quickly and just holds the player up enough time for the North boys to get down the ground. Woewodin into the middle. Rigoni accepts the short pass. Guy Rigoni now to bomb away. It'll land close to the forward 50. Punched away by that North Melbourne defence. They have been quite disciplined all night, allowing only 9 goals through, and their defence has been excellent. Pickett has been one of those players.
Talked about the It's all about the North Melbourne defence there, Robbo. Wayne Carey ran 50 metres to punch that ball away.
Boundary throw in. Steins. Capuano works to the front. Jimmy at the back. Little toe poke by Febey. Pickett, quick kick, doesn't go far. Oh, great smother by Pickett. Sensational smother. Handball on the up by Steins. Pickett again. What a play. Well done by McDonald to force him out, but Byron Pickett, that is one of the plays of 1998. Have a look at this. And then gets to his feet after that and chases it down again.
Almost smothered it with his head. No side has kicked more than 80 points against North Melbourne in their last 9 encounters.
So where are the D's going to get it from? Grant's handball went straight to Seecamp. That gives Melbourne a bit of a chance. Stephen Febey, Neitz and Martin. Kowal, who's been reasonably good. Back to Martin. Mickey ran over the line deliberately, I reckon, but you couldn't ping him.
He is a great defender, isn't he, Bruce? He's just been a champion throughout his career.
No doubt about that. North Melbourne supporters, they love him. He's a cult figure. They just adore him. Neitz and Martin. Taken by Febey. Kicks the full forward. Here's where Farmer is. It's a goal! It's a goal! Melbourne within 3. They keep it alive. They do keep it alive, but they must get the next one.
Well, Stephen Febey's been pretty quiet, but with his 13th possession, kicked a badly needed goal here. There's still 12 minutes left, but by gee, it's a big ask, isn't it? They've only kicked 10 goals so far. They've got to kick 4-0 to win. Neil Danaher. Is there a trick left in the little box for Neil Danaher and his men? Jimmy Steins, left hand, punches it forward. Bell shrugs the tackle, then gets a clever hand pass to Rock. In turn over the top to Simpson. Simpson towards half forward. Carey marks. Looks to play on, did he? Didn't go over the mark, probably.
He wanted to play on.
May have hurt himself a little bit. Close to the man on the mark. Carey kicks in towards the forward pocket area. Matt Capuano was marked. Too easy for North Melbourne.
That's really keeping the opposition ruckman honest, isn't it? Just watch this again. Wayne Carey takes the mark. Thought about going on, but just not getting any footing there whatsoever. There was an intelligent kick to the space out wide where Matthew Capuano just drifted down. Jim Steins was guarding the dangerous space, and also Corey McKernan at the top of the square.
Capuano going for his first goal, but it'll be a quick answer if he can kick it. Melbourne took a long time to get their 10th. Capuano kicks North 14th. Very important quick answer to the Kangaroos. They lead again by 24 points.
Wonderful play in the centre there by Peter Bell. It looked like the ball was going Melbourne's way. He just grabbed the ball, handballed it quickly over the top. He's realised that he's not a quick player. He's got wonderful hands, and that released the ball, and they're away again, North Melbourne.
So North out to 4 goals again. And again, Melbourne haven't been able to put 2 together since the first term. Bell having a magnificent match. Kicks to half forward. Scholl paved the way. Shannon Grant onto it. Carey does the shepherd. Grant goes and drills it. He drills it through. They're on their way. They're on their way to the last Saturday in September. Peter Bell has stood so tall tonight, and Shannon Grant kicks his 3rd.
Good late shepherd here by Wayne Carey. Just watch this again. Comes in.
McKernan
McKernan it was. Just to clear the path there for Grant. Give him a bit of extra time. Good finish of that man on the screen.
45 goals for the year now to Shannon Grant. He's been a very good player for North Melbourne since crossing from the Swans. And a very, very good crowd here Friday night at the MCG. Nearly 74,000 fans. Martin, dashing, Mickey Martin goes down the ground for the Kangaroos. Centre half forward. The mark not taken by McKernan. The crumbs gathered by Steins. The little kick puts his teammate under pressure. Blakey Handball into the forward 50, Capuano. McKernan couldn't get his kick away. It's at fullback now. Ingerson slips the hand pass to Febey. Febey out wide. Pickett at the back. The marker's taken in front by James McDonald. Handball away to Woewodin. Transfers play to the middle. Seecamp. Seecamp can go for goal. No. He went over the mark, I thought. The kick in towards full forward. Farmer. They get back well, don't they, North Melbourne? King has been paid the mark across full back. He'll go short. Finds Bell. Bell with his 29th possession. Kicks it to Scott. Scott plays on. King is there. They're always in support. They sacrifice meterage just to get players at the fall of the ball. Simpson on this occasion kicks towards full forward, and the mark is taken there by Allison, who has warmed the bench for most of the night. Brett Allison coming up for his third kick. Could have a 100% return if he can kick accurately. He has already kicked 2 from 2.
What a mark. They play efficiency football in its purest sense, don't they?
Well, this angle is much in favour of Brett Allison. Natural left foot kick. He's deep in the right forward pocket. Kicking for North Melbourne's 16th goal. He's got it 3 foot 3 to Allison. So the North Melbourne fans have got plenty to shout about. Their team leads by 6 goals.
Just watch this again. Courage shown here by Simpson. What a wonderful player he's been again tonight in the midfield. Had 20 possessions, 7 marks. And then Allison, he'll get his glass of cordial after the game. He's done his work tonight, kicked 2 goals.
Allison's kicked 31 goals in his 13 finals matches. It's a great strike rate. He did get 7 in one big game against the Cats. And suddenly North Melbourne are 6 in front as the D's go forward out of the centre to half forward Mickey Martin. Well, if the Norm Smith was for the prelim final, I think he'd win it tonight. Bell's been very good too. Interesting, in the respective 50-metre arcs, North have taken 13 marks to Melbourne's 5. It's a big difference. Kick to centre wing. Simpson's been magnificent. Ball on the ground. Taken by Rigoni. Rigoni to half forward. High kick. Martin at the back. Within Pickett. They both go, and McDonald stayed down. Handball inboard to Schwartz. Cut off though. Farmer's there. Martin over the top. Ball towards the line. North will probably want to pick it there. They hold it up. Well done. Good contest. Schwartz on the ground, and it'll be a ball up. It's a big lead now, isn't it? 107 to 71. Such a keenly contested match. Rock off, Harvey on. Farmer has had very little impact. Terrific smother across his boot by Robert Scott, who's got better as the match has gone on. He was shaky early, a bit wibbly wobbly, but he's come through in the end. 16 to 10. Martin and Schwartz. Martin lays it down. Simpson's handball was good. Scott backing towards the centre, marked by Harvey. They seem to be finding men all the time now. Harvey has had a quiet night. He's been on the interchange for most of it. Kicks to McKernan. He's been the best target of the night. Went over the top. Beautifully read by Grant. He's kicked 3. He can waltz all the way in. Runs his full measure and hammers it. Hammers it home. What a season he's had. 46 goals for Shannon Grant. 4 tonight. And North Melbourne, as I said, the juggernaut was rolling. It's got a full head of steam up now.
Once again, they just attack the corridor of the football. The shortest way home is straight up the middle. Turn the ball back inside.
Shannon Grant's 4th goal has put the issue way beyond doubt now. North Melbourne by 7 goals with 7.5 minutes in the preliminary final. North Melbourne into the 1998 grand final. Only thing to be decided is tomorrow's game between the Bulldogs and the Crows. Viney still trying very hard for his team. Knocked away from Garry Lyon. Out wide. Gathered again by Simpson. Must figure in North Melbourne's best half dozen. This player, just for his efficiency, would also be there. And his kick to the forward line has been marked by Abraham.
They're making it look like a training drill now.
Will he take the opponent on? The man on the mark. He's a little too far out, Winston, you might think. But the excitement machine, we may see him try to duck past the man on the mark. Tingay may be a little wise to it. He's just behind the player on the mark. Big margin now, isn't it? 42 points. It was 21 at three-quarter time. Abraham hooks the kick. It goes all the way, but it's out on the full. And the free kick to be taken by Febey in the right back pocket.
He's kicked 2-4, Winston. He's kicked 4 last scoring shots have been behind. Steins to Matthew Febey. North have kicked the last 4 goals. He's gone. He's holding the footy. It's starting to crumble all around them. But at least I guess he's prepared to take a chance. But North were onto him. And Brett Allison could kick his 4th goal with his 4th kick in this preliminary final.
Yeah, Febey just tries to do too much, but as you said, Bruce, they needed some desperate action, and so it really required somebody to stand up and try to do something special, but it didn't come off.
Big call by Dennis Pagan. Brett Allison only played 2 of the last 15 matches this season on the senior side. Straight back in now tonight, and he has had a very good cameo role. He just hooks and kicks it behind. So 3-1 to Allison, but he's been very important. As North Melbourne will meet either Adelaide. It is a dejected bench, isn't it, for Melbourne, who played so well for really the first 3 quarters here and got the first goal of the last quarter to give them a chance. So it'll be North against either the Bulldogs or the Crows. Will it be the 2 premiers of the last 2 years, or will the Bulldogs make only their 3rd grand final?
Seecamp kicks to Rigoni, looks to play on, does so. Uze out of half-back. Player coming off the ground is McKernan, being protected. Got a great mark to Martin. 30 years of age, Mickey Martin, over 200 games. And he's marked safely across half-back and plays the percentages once again. Well, I think he was obviously looking for Peter Bell. Bell with a wry smile. He's not too bothered. His team leads this game by 43 points.
North Melbourne have shut down Uze and Stephen Febey across half-back. They've been their best rebounding players for Melbourne, and they just haven't had any room to breathe at all tonight and set play up.
Pickett just gets a little kick to it. It goes back towards the wing. Shannon Grant, chopped off by Shanahan to Woewodin, who started so brilliantly in the first term. But it's 3-on-1 back there. Garry Lyon against Peter Bell, Glenn Archer, and the other player off to the left might be Anthony Stevens. They just work so hard to outnumber the opposition, do the Kangaroos. 43 points. The advantage for North Melbourne. Capuano, who's been pretty good in his role. Steins gets the tap to the back of the pack. Martin gets his right foot to it, which was important because he's forced a boundary throw in on the opposite side of the ground, 50 metres from the Demon goal.
Probably the one that comes back to haunt Melbourne a bit is Joe Gutnick about Carey. I mean, this is what we've been wondering. If Carey doesn't have a huge game, can North still win? We've been so used to him in the last 2 months, dominating matches, and tonight he's been well held. He's had his bits and pieces, but North have responded with 10 different goal kickers, and they've got a big win coming up. Taken by Robertson. Good kick. Very good kick. That salvages a little bit for them. Robertson gets the goal. 17-12 to 11-11.
Just been a great defensive performance by North Melbourne. Their midfield players have been prepared to get back and help, but they've been able to win the one-on-one duels against this very talented Melbourne forward line.
Neil Danaher, 11 single goal scorers for the D's. It's been a magnificent season for them. They've come from the bottom of the table to the last 4. Cow's handball was good to Febey. Wide, finds Robertson, who kicked the last goal. Is it centre wing? Hits the deck almost. Gets his kick into centre half forward. Can someone finally take a mark? Martin has just been superb. Back to Leoncelli, who puts it home. We'll kick 2 in a row. Good on them. They deserve a good finish for all the thrills they've given their supporters and the competition this year. Good on Melbourne there.
Well, the pleasing thing, I would guess, from Neil Danaher's point of view, he's not going to be happy with the loss, but they've been very good this year, Melbourne. They've probably exceeded everybody's expectations of them. And even in this latter part of this game, when it's well and truly over, players are still prepared to run and create. And that's a good sign in young players.
Well, Melbourne have managed 3 goals at each quarter. North Melbourne have outscored them accordingly in each quarter. Capuano a big jump and leap. Tingay kicks it forward, but it was smothered off the boot. Now Melbourne have got 4-on-1, but it's Garry. His kick finds the safety of the boundary line. It'll be thrown in just forward of centre wing. Garry, he can afford to do anything at this stage. He's captain of a team that is going to play in the 1998 Grand Final, and it's a terrific record by North. The last time they were beaten this year was in June by the Hawks. Big punch by Archer, gathered here by Leoncelli. His kick be marked by Lyon. Garry Lyon may be playing his last game of league football. Let's hope he can finish it. The last 4 minutes of this match with a certain amount of credibility. Archer's punch was a beauty. Leoncelli swooped on it and kicked it to the Melbourne veteran. So Lyon going for his second goal. He should kick the distance. He's only got to kick the ball about 45 metres. He kicks it long, and it looks as though it might be a goal. No, just off to the right. 1 goal, 1 to Garry Lyon.
King to bring it in. So 5 goals, 17-12 to 12. In fact, the scoreboard has put it up as a goal. They've got 13-11. Now they've gone back. Pickett just holding off for King. Back to Pickett. Pickett to Martin. Martin outside the 50 now. So North have done pretty well. Without a kick so far, they've been able to get it 70 metres from the goal. Martin kicks down to centre wing. Seecamp there with Shoal. A boundary throw in. 16 premiership players, North Melbourne, from 1996. So they've kept the core, haven't they? And they'll come back again in 1998. 11 consecutive victories. Fascinating stat. 22 of the 44 players out there tonight have actually kicked at least 1 goal. There's been a real spread, hasn't there? Shannon Grant, the big goal kicker, with 4, and Allison with 3. And the Demons have had 12 separate goal scorers.
That's a clear indication of the changing game, though, too, isn't it?
Blakey with a free kick. 73,719. Big crowd. I think the AFL might have hoped for a bit more, but it's still a big crowd, and it's been a huge atmosphere here tonight. Blakey kicks the ball to centre half forward. Simpson floating from the side. Tingay was there. Bell caught up. Can't get clear. It'll be a ball up. Big stats for Bell. 29 possessions. And I think, Tim, you pointed out a couple of times, his play in the centre square when it was hard and hot, when North couldn't find a winner, was just so valuable to North Melbourne when the game was there to be won. Blakey over the top. Can't get the handball away. Held up. Well done, Steins. Not sure whether Garry Lyon is playing his last game. Maybe Jimmy. And that remarkable story, as we look at Corey McKernan, maybe Jimmy Steins, one of the most incredible stories in AFL history, might be playing his last game here tonight. Ingerson wins it. Leoncelli, well done. He's had plenty of run late in the match. Kicks the ball wide. Carey out there. He's been content really to sweep a bit in the last quarter. And in a way, I think some pressure's off Wayne Carey tonight. He hasn't had to kick 6 or 7 and win it for them. Cleans the slate a bit, doesn't it, for the grand final?
Well, he gets dirty on himself when he plays a bad game. You wouldn't want to be the defender lining up on him next week.
Has had 13 kicks and 7 marks.
It's not a bad game, but by his lofty standards, it's an average game.
5 goals, exactly the margin in favour of North Melbourne, down close to the last minute of the knockout preliminary final between the Kangaroos and the Demons. The Demons, after a great season in which they finished 4th on the ladder, and they probably now have to just accept that they were the 3rd or 4th best team in the competition. Nearly a mark to Ingerson. It may be a free kick against Roberts, is it?
Yeah, free kick paid, Robbo.
Anthony Ingerson has had a great season for the Demons, but there really aren't any rewards for coming 3rd or 4th. There's only one team rewarded in a football competition, And that really is the premiership side. James McDonald with the football in the middle of the ground. Down into the last minute. 30 points is the advantage with North Melbourne, and Martin again. Just absolute superior strength in that marking contest at left half-back.
Appropriate, really, 8 marks for Mickey. Appropriate that he's probably going to have the last say in this match. North have had some great players tonight, but nobody better than this man.
Well, Neitz has been in red-hot form.
And he has closed him completely. Mickey kicks to centre wing. North are nearly there. They are there. The last Saturday in September. He's a good sport, Garry Lyon. It was a great contest. 11 in a row. It's a bit like what Carlton did, isn't it? In 1995, when they took 15 in a row to the grand final. Neil Danaher has had a magnificent first season. 16 wins as a coach. But North Melbourne were just great tonight. They stood so tall when they were challenged. Their game plan, they believe, is bulletproof. That fellow there played a magnificent match. Corey McKernan was a dominating player early on the ground. He's with Adrian Barrage.
Corey, well, you're off to another grand final.
Yeah, no, it's a good feeling. I suppose all the hard work that we've done over the year we've been rewarded for, but I suppose the week off probably helped at the end of the day. We had a very good preparation for the game. It's just fantastic for the guys. We're through to another grand final.
The Demons are gallant. They've had a great 8 weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been fantastic. Full credit to them. Like where they've come from, I suppose they come from last year, and the finish 4th this year is a fantastic effort.
Congratulations, mate. Great game.
Thanks, mate.
Here's Dennis Pagan with the dipper.
Thanks very much, Bruce. Well, we've just spoken to Corey McKernan. He must have been happy with his performance, and congratulations.
He's been under enormous pressure. A lot of people were potting him, Robert. He played terrific tonight. We were really pleased with his effort. He marked strongly. It was the Corey of old, and we were thrilled with that.
A very strong win by the boys tonight. Mickey Martin down there at the back.
Mick was terrific. I thought it was a pretty good team effort. We were strong at the finish. We ran hard. It was a real good team effort, and we know a few players in our team can play a hell of a lot better too, Rob.
Now, last year you wanted to play like Shannon Grant to be in the side, and you picked him up, and he certainly did the job for you tonight.
Yeah, look, he's done very well all year. He's kicked some 43 or 44 goals. His effort's been superb this year. He was very good tonight.
Thanks for joining us on Channel 7. Well done.
Thanks, Dipper, with Dennis Pagan, Neil Danaher and Danny Corcoran, Cameron Schwab. Well, Melbourne Footy Club have done so much. They stood the Melbourne members and clapped their team off, but this is a magnificent football club too. In fact, this is great at the other end. Also with Melbourne, Neil Danaher getting a standing ovation with his players. Terrific stuff. It really makes the hair on the back of the neck stand up. It's a great sportsmanship here. But 11 consecutive victories for North Melbourne. June the 19th was the last time they won. Whoever wins tomorrow, this is the bookmakers' favourite. They have to be. Not sure how short they'll be in the final, but they must be favourite to win the flag. It'll be Adelaide or Western Bulldogs. They have such a belief in themselves, don't they, North Melbourne? Tonight, Melbourne matched them for intensity. They matched them in the crash bang stuff. They matched them everywhere for a half. But North just tightened the screws, kept tightening and kept tightening. And in the end, they broke the back of a team which has swept all before them in the last 7 weeks. Rarely do you get to the second last week of the season and have 2 teams coming in with such winning form. But North has prevailed. They're the hardest for the longest, aren't they? They just keep going. They keep on going. And haven't we heard this song sung for a long, long time now as we hear it again?